Greetings and salutations, beautiful people. Welcome to the Midday Show. That's your boy, Joey Options, and I'm Sharif, and we already have a couple of early birds in the chat. Shout out to you guys. Shout out to the OG Darwin, Black Hawk, JP, and Kobe the Kid. Yo, yo, yo. Let's plant up that Storm Say Less, my guy. There it is. We got Sharif Slips. What's up, man? Joe Mama. We got Steve Day, Jesse, Cisco. We got Billy Bezos. Okay. Skull, Gore of the OG, Terry. How about Omar BDL? And we got Big Boy. And then he writes, and big girls. Okay. Nice. I see that. Adara's giving you the round of applause there. Thank you for being inclusive. Jeremy Crypto. We got Vern, Ronaldo, Aaron, Drew, Chow, and Frollo grade covalence. Every time I see your name, I remember grade 9 chemistry with covalent bonds.
Ooh.
Eek, Yannick, we got Brown something or another. Shout out to all things Trump. Tell me more. We got Chatan47. Come on, you gunners. Eric B. Roaring Griffin. We got Sagar Patel and Sir Poopy Paper Hands. Trading today for tomorrow. Shout out to my man there. Who else? We got Jesse Ramirez, Cran, Mr. Thumbs Up. What else we got over here? Neediest Reckless. I can't even read your name, man. Shout out to Kevin Vasquez, Frank Drives, The Piper. Shout out to the OG Jay Lee. I know we got to cut it a little bit short today. Shout out to everybody in the chat, but we do have Adair at the big desk with news.
Just keep an eye here on CVS. Excuse my booster juice there. So CVS on Watch. The story hasn't come out yet, but a reporter here by the name of Anjali Shamlani posted here on X. She does work for Yahoo. She's a senior health reporter for Yahoo. She posted on X here that there's going to be an article she wrote for Yahoo Finance about CVS. It's going to be coming out very soon. She teased this article on her X account here basically about 5 minutes ago. She said that basically CVS is going to be committing $20 billion over 10 years to modernize the healthcare experience, but there are a few caveats. It's hoping that there's going to be a regulatory environment that catches up, that allows, I guess, them to make the most of this investment. They also said they hope competitors will agree to integrate and that their patients will entrust the company with its data. So again, reported here, we're getting an exclusive ahead of the report on Yahoo Finance that CVS is committing to $20 billion for modernizing the healthcare experience, with a couple catches. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that, Adair. Good morning, brother.
Yeah, good morning, man. Good morning. I was trading some Bitcoin this morning. That didn't work out how I wanted to, and I was heavy, but this trade, this NVDA short, that worked out really well. But let's break down what we got going on with Bitcoin here. Oh, I'm so frustrated because I'm like, I missed. This is the move that I was anticipating, and I was dealing with NVDA, and I didn't want to chase it. I was looking at it right around here, and I'm like, you know what, that's enough. But let's break down this trade that I had this morning there, guys. So I entered, got really aggressive, and then this little wick out right here, I ended up getting stopped out, break even right here, because this was my most aggressive ad as we punched through some of these pre-market levels. And then I went for that hold of the volume-weighted average price and the continuation and the break of the high day. Didn't get it, got stopped out. I'm like, all right, we're still up on this trade. Let's try it one more time. We have a bullish thesis. We think that the underlying is going to continue to climb higher and higher. Let's take another stab at it. I mean, we're 1 for 2 on the trade, and we're still up nicely on it. Take another one. Doesn't do what I wanted to. It doesn't break that high, so I take a really small loss on it. And then I try one more time, and I'm like, it's not going. The tape wasn't telling me what I wanted. The price action wasn't. And then sure enough, once I started to trade NVDA, this thing is going on this monster run and continuing to climb higher and higher. So that's a missed one opportunity on my behalf, but it's all right. There'll always be another chance to get involved in that type of trade, but I'm happy with this. I don't know what I got. Yeah, NVDL. Happy with this short, to be honest with you, because this was a really strong signal, and I got really aggressive. So what I had going on with that first IBIT entry, I was more profitable on this NVDL short, surprisingly, but also I'm not going to try to battle this trend too aggressively. I'm going to wait for those precision entries, which I did, and then if I have any other prints that tell me, hey, we're going to start to bounce again, then I'm going to look to take the majority of the position off, and that's what happened in multiple instances. So this was my first entry, double up the size, take off about 66%, and then we get stopped out. I try it one more time, but I'm like, this looks like it wants to consolidate before it takes an additional leg lower, and here we go. It did decide to continue to climb higher. So I'm not going to be fighting this trend too aggressively here on NVDL or NVDA, sorry, because I don't want to fight a strong name, especially with a catalyst like that.
Good. Go ahead, Adair.
A couple pieces of China news coming through here. We have Xinhua, which is a Chinese news source, reporting that apparently China's top diplomat is meeting a U.S. ambassador to China. Then we also have some comments here coming through from China's foreign ministry, specifically Foreign Minister Wang Yi. He's saying that they believe it's regrettable that U.S. has recently introduced, I guess, a series of negative measures. We know Donald Trump on Truth Social and a lot of members of his team did not speak positively about the China-U.S. negotiations last week. We also have Wang Yi, who is, again, China's foreign minister, saying that China and U.S. relations are at, quote, a critical juncture, and that after the Geneva discussions, China has apparently conscientiously and strictly implemented the consensus. So comments here basically, I guess to summarize too, one more comment coming from Wang Yi, saying that there's equal respect is going to be the prerequisite for China-U.S. relations. So China looks like they're not necessarily feeling respected in these negotiations as of right now. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adara. All right, guys, still in the sim today as we're still waiting on the back-end office to clear my my test results from yesterday. So we're doing it again in the sim, but I'm going to put on the same trades that I would have anyway, obviously with different size. But here's what I'm looking at already. So let's get right down to it because there's quite a bit going on. A lot of small cap gappers today on the move. So we're going to have to trade these carefully and trade them accurately. Chief among them, at least the way I see it right now, CATX looking the best. Shout out to my man Bovin. This one just took out $3 with a high of $3.19. I just worked my way into this one. I am planning on defending it into that $3 to $2.95 area. Reason I give that a spread from $3 to $2.95, 3 being the psychological area of support and the 295 area being that 10 exponential moving average off which I like to base trades. I will be watching this as it comes down. Let's see if it does come down into that 295 and possibly further. I could be convinced to defend it into the volume weighted average price, which is at around 285, a little bit lower, 10 pennies lower, that is, from the 295 where the 10 EMA is. So I see CATX looking awfully good over here. There's lots going today. Let's see if they're able to maintain their momentum to the high side. Case in point, KIDZ now breaking down below the volume weighted average price after making a new high moments ago at 618. Likewise with BMEA dropping down below the volume weighted average price. And basically since 1040 this morning, it's putting in a downward channel of lower lows and lower highs. That doesn't obviously look very attractive. What does look attractive about BMEA is it's being bought aggressively below that volume weighted average price. In fact, all the candles have actually closed at or above the volume weighted average price. It's not exactly a glowing endorsement, though, that it's just closing above there and not putting in new area highs. So I'm going to be watching this quite intently, seeing if that trend change does come into play and we start putting in higher lows and higher highs. So BMEA of interest to me, but for the moment, not setting up correctly. Who remembers F-Cell from back in 2020 and 2021? I do. I was involved in this name. It used to be a lot higher back then. Now it's at around $5. That's post reverse split, obviously. What we got here is a good looking bull flag, at least for the moment on our hands. Big move up into that 585, now trading at around 5 3/4. I'm involved in this one at 574, so we're a penny out of the money. I could, again, be persuaded, depending on the volume candles and the aggression with which we retrace, to add at that 550 area, not just because it's a psychological area of support and resistance, but it happens to be the exact price of the volume weighted average price. So F-Cell involved in that and looking to do some damage there, sim damage that is. Again, guys, we are in the sim today. Last but not least, WOLF coming into the 10 exponential over here. I already have planned DCAs. I don't have to be persuaded to DCA into this one. We're going to put already an order at $1.38 over here for the ad and front running the $1.37 where the volume weighted average price is. So WOLF Joseph up 16.5.
Nice. All right. Yeah. Let's take a look at the options chain. I know some people wanted to take a gander at this one here for this week's expiration cycle on NVDA. And I heard a couple individuals say at 140 there is a little bit of a wall there, 142. But I mean, it's not. It's about half the size that we have around 139 and 140. So whoever's short these calls right here is now under underwater, right? You don't want to be there. So this is why we can also add to this squeeze plus this catalyst that we got going on here. And I mean, you want to look for that next level of high open interest. And I don't see anything close to what we have at 39 and 140. So we got to look to see what that next level is going to be. Are we going to knock on the door of 142? We have, and we're starting to slightly pull off of that number. So 38,000 contracts at that specific strike price, and then we have to go all the way up to 145 to see anything relatively as big as that, and that's going to be 56,000 contracts at that 145 strike. So not a bad look here on NVDA. Let's see if it goes back towards 139, 140, and if it does, there might be some more downside because you get that downwards pressure, right? Well, now that those short calls are on side, you just get that selling pressure, continuous selling pressure right here. But Skull and I in the chat were talking, I'm like, I'm not going to be giving this too many stabs at the short. I'm content with what I took. And for me, I have no issues with just not trying to short one of the strongest names in the market today. So that's okay. Whether it goes to the volume weighted average price or not, it's essentially irrelevant to me because I've made my two good executions on that. And I'm happy. Could we get some more? Absolutely. But I want to look for some longs in some specific names. And I don't want to be looking for a short or going counter trend on one of the strongest performing underlyings on the session. But I wanted to talk about CRM here as well too. I've been buying this for the past couple of days here. I bought some in the pre-market yesterday and I bought some more in the pre-market this morning. And then I like that we were starting to break above the volume weighted average price. I mean, we tap into 264.28. I talk about the swing that I have placed on this. I also have an order for some contracts, just straight up calls, because I think that we can get a nice $10 bounce in this. But I want to start really small. So I started with, I'll tell you guys full disclosure, I just started with 50 shares to just get a move at it. My average is around 260, 250, a little bit below that. So that's my game plan here on CRM. I'm not going to hold it forever. Essentially, the thesis is just to play this gap fill, and then we'll take the majority of it off. And then if we get any continuation past that, then I'll leave some for a runner. So that is my trade plan. Why am I taking this specific setup? Well, look, we had the earnings report. You get that big gap down, but then we also print a hammer candle with an isolated volume signature. So far, we haven't breached the low of this candle, and that's where my stop loss is going to be placed. So as long as we continue to hold this and slowly appreciate in price, I think it's going to give us multiple opportunities to continuously add into this and then get this gap filled, take the majority of the position off, and then leave a small bit for a runner, Sharif.
We're keeping an eye on CATX here. I was able to get a print to the high side, but now showing me two candles of indecision. The previous one closed at 11:05. The current one also a candle of indecision on the 5. Sorry, just flipped to the 5 over here. So we'll have to see how this one ends up doing. Again, let's plan some DCAs here into that $3 area. I'll front run that 3 because the 10 EMA is a static level and it's moving with the price action. So a little bit above 3 right now. CATX, the one I'm talking about, good look there. BMEA as well. So I originally got into this one quickly and then got stopped out because it did lose the volume weighted average price. But now it is starting to kind of put in a 3 candle higher low setup. This is on the 5. So let's have a look at the 5 over here. Let's zoom out a little bit. Kind of hard to see these wicks, but I see it on my side chart. It's a little bit above the volume weighted average price. And in fact, the previous candle, the one that closed at 11:10, also has a previous area high. So here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to get in here because it looks like it might be breaking back out again, finding support at the volume weighted average price. And my stop on this one is going to be the low of the 11:05 candle. That takes us all the way down to 217. So let's go ahead and put our stop at 215, and we'll see what comes with this trade. Trying to give it the old college try. Let's set up some beak wetters though. If this one finds a nice move up into the area high there, we'll extract some profits at 37s, and then I'll layer my orders into 42s and as well as in the high 40s as well, front running that $0.50 area psychological resistance. So let's see if this one's able to catch a bit of a bid. Here we go, moving up into my level. Just got to cross now on the bid side of the level 2 in order to get the print, so we'll keep tabs on that one. I'm also keeping tabs simultaneously on FCell, losing the 10 EMA on the 5, but well above the 20 and above the volume weighted average price. I've set up my profit or my DCA, my planned DCA into that mid 560s level. Is it 550? It's 550, 556, excuse me. Still not coming down into my level though, so we'll pack her patience there. I see SBET, guys. I do see it. It's very aggressive. It's a big move to the high side. It doesn't interest me given the price. I get I'm in the sim, but that doesn't really change how I trade. So I'll show it to you guys. I wouldn't be trading this if I was live. It's just far too spready, far too aggressive. Hard for me to manage risk on this, and I've seen this one turn the tables a little bit midday before, and I don't want to be on the receiving end of that. So anyway, 81.69, the high of the day. It's having trouble with 80. The 10 EMA on SBET is at around 75 and a quarter, and it's been putting a fantastic looking uptrend. There's really nothing to complain about this one. Most candles have higher lows. In fact, they have higher lows and higher highs. Just again, look at that. It popped up into $81 and then it dropped into 78 within the same candle. That was 1 second. So managing risk on this is going to be a hard endeavor. If you're going to trade SBET, make sure you're managing risk correctly. But CATX is breaking out here. I had a feeling this was going to happen. There we go again. We have 11s on. We just took 25s. The next level I'm waiting at 28s. It's already showing me 28s on the level 2, but we're not getting the print because it's not crossing. So let's go ahead and set up some more profit takers to the high side over here. Going to wait just a little bit below that 35, and then on top of that, we're going to wait at 39. CATX, very aggressive to the high side. It behooves me to give you some information on that, and here it is. A little bit less than 60 million share float, says Trade Ideas, 58.94, with a very healthy short float. 11.5% of the set 60 million apparently is being bored for short. That could be up to 2 weeks old. So digest that information as you will. Just juxtaposing that to my float over here. So Trade Ideas saying 59 million. My platform saying 53 2/3. Split the difference there. They're both a little bit on the larger side. You know, usually we're looking at these single digit float names in the millions, obviously. So like 5 million, 10 million, etc. So we'll keep tabs on that. So that's all I've got right now. We've got all the trades there on the bottom. CATX, the long. SBET continuing to go like crazy. Wolf, we're involved in that one, but waiting for that dip trade. REKR, another name I was going to mention, up 34.5%. Quite choppy though, and no respect for the volume weighted average price. So I've got less of an area off which to get a dip trade. So that's my thinking on this one. Volume weighted average price right now on REKR, $1.42. As you saw there, it lost it all the way down to $1.28. So it interests me a little bit less. FCEL, we're still holding on to that. BMEA, we just got a little bit out there, so we'll keep tabs on that. Red. CATX upgraded to 16 bucks today by RBC. That's fantastic. You know what? I used to look at Catalyst for small cap gappers. Now I just don't give a flying you know what, okay? Because it doesn't really matter. They're intraday trades and we're trading off momentum. I very, very much do not care about the Catalyst, Joseph.
Yeah, all right, let's see what we got going on. And this is what I was talking about, Skull and I in the chat, which is like, yeah, it's so tough to short some of these strong names, right? And when you have the signals that give you them, don't look for that extension all the way back towards the volume-weighted average price, especially when we've seen a trend like we're experienced this morning. So, and focus on the tape as well. So you can see that we're continuously hitting the ask and above the ask, and everything is just being defended. All key levels of support and resistance are just being defended, with offers being continuously hit at the ask and above it. So keep an eye out on that, guys, and just be cautious if you are. Keep those risk measures relatively tight, or widen and go smaller size, right? You don't want to just go punch heavy right away. And you can see just from the depth of these pullbacks, they're borderline micro. Like you only have a couple minutes of selling and then bought right back up, and then the underlying establishes a new high. So just keep an eye out on that, guys. You don't want to just be kind of beating a dead horse, because if it's not going to give you what you want, then just find something else that will. And then Gorev also pointed out that Palantir just eventually always just gets bought up. Yeah, I mean, we're trading at 132.03. I know that and Hood have made new all-time highs. So it's really nice. It's a good look here in some of these big names. And I like that NVDA is starting to head back towards some of those earnings report highs. So that's a positive sign for this stock. And I do believe that we are going to breach the all-time highs soon. I'm not saying within a week or two, but I think we're on that path where we go into that realm. So, all right, guys, let's take a look at some other things here. I'm being patient. CRM's looking pretty good, but it's a little bit more expensive for my liking, and it's a NYSE stock as well, too. It's not the most liquid thing here on the lower lower time frames either. So I'm going to be keeping my eye on some other things. Is Palantir playing catch up? Let's take a look. I mean, it's starting to climb towards the opening price here. So that 5-minute orb is relatively weak, but you do get an indecision print as well too. And then we climb all the way down to 130, and then it gets bought right back up, and then you can see the strength displayed in the time sales too, just as we flip to it, and then boom, and that's what you want to look for a strong underlying. We're not overly reactive to when those orders are getting hit on the bid, but then when we start hitting the ask and above the ask, you can see that underlying really start to react and climb higher. So that's a positive sign if you're long Palantir. I don't know if you're long from the lows, Gaurav, but if you are, then congratulations. But right now, it's looking like VWAP is a potentially good entry as well too. So be patient on that one. Bitcoin looking like it wants to take an additional leg higher. It's unfortunate that that ship has sailed. I had a strong hunch. I was going with my gut this morning that we were going to trend. So we were in from around 59.80s, and then now we're trading up $1 higher than that. And I was pretty aggressive this morning on Bitcoin, but it is what it is. I do believe there's going to be plenty of opportunities to catch these types of moves in Bitcoin. Just today wasn't our one.
Yeah, I don't know how to say your name, brother, because it looks like it's in Slavic or Russian writing. So he asked, MCTR, on your charts, thoughts on the small cap gapper. So I have a rule with these small cap gappers, my friend. Again, I don't know your name. If you want to tag me and actually tell me your name IRL, and I'll refer to you by that. But MCTR has lost the volume weighted average price. So this was a multiple halter. As you can see, those dashes right here on the 5, those typically mean no activity for 5 minutes, meaning that it was halted. We can get a better view on the 1 for MCTR. So you can see this one halted once to the upside, twice, once to the downside, once up, one down, down. So more down halts than up halts, which makes sense because now it's trading below that white line, my friend. That white line there is the volume weighted average price. So I have 2 rules for these small cap gappers. If they were trading in the pre-market, they need to be above the pre-market high. So if they were doing volume, which a lot of these small cap gappers do in the pre, got to be above that high. Don't want to have to struggle with the bag holders from the pre. That's number 1. Number 2, if they're above the pre-market high, pre-rec number 2 is trading above the volume weighted average price. This is where MCTR fails. So it's not going to be on my trading list, so to speak, until and if it can get above that 875 or wherever VWAP is at the time. Thank you for pointing that out because I didn't mention it, but MCTR, not of interest to me at the moment, again, until it can weasel above the volume weighted average price there. Looking over here, we're taking prints on CATX. That one popped into 330, got the print there, waiting at 34s, then 48s. I'm looking, I don't mind adding on CATX, which trades on the Amex network, by the way, guys, on retracements if they are sound retracements. The one that I'm also keeping an eye on very closely, WOLF. So this one sadly didn't get my add into the volume weighted average price. It found support at 40 pennies. I didn't anticipate that. I thought we would get a VWAP retracement, hence why I put the larger order at that $137, which didn't get filled in any event. We just got a print there at 45, so we'll keep an eye out on that. And then FCell continues to kind of zig and zag here, above VWAP, above the 10, but a bit of a downward channel right now on FCell. And then BMEA, I happen to like the look of BMEA here. It feels very ascending wedge-ish, okay? And what I mean by that is it's putting in higher lows, but not necessarily taking out that area high. And that area high, I'll submit to you guys, is at around that $2.40 area. So BMEA, it's already shown you its propensity to move aggressively on the day. It's up over 50%, this, that, and the other. It's got a 260 high a day. It's above VWAP. It's above the 10 EMA. So, you know, we don't know. We never know with these small cap gappers, but it does feel like it might be setting up for an aggressive move to the high side. And that's why I've layered my orders in the fashion that I have. So we'll keep tabs on that. Just back quickly before we send it to Joe, keeping an eye on WOLF. We're about 2 pennies off the high of the day. I have a bit of a bias here with Wolf that we at least touch that $0.50, Joe. So we'll keep an eye out on that. All
right, nice. Yeah, good looks there. Yeah, I mean, I'm still sitting on my hands there, guys. I went through the 2 names that I traded this morning, and that was Bitcoin and NVDA. See, the thing is, though, I'm so highly tempted to almost want to take another short on it, but then also my gut is just like, no, just don't do it. It's so strong. And I was looking at the Qs as well, and I'm like, all right, well, if we're kind of extended in the overall market, I want to see if I can find any form of indecision, an isolated pivot, and some volume as well, too. But then it's also my job to do the due diligence. If I'm going to short the overall market, what are the bigger names telling me? And that's why I just went across the board to see where each underlying is standing. So I went to Meta. It is trading below the volume weighted average price. Google is trading above VWAP, but moving eastward as well too. And then Amazon kind of just stuck in a chop too. So I think it's a lot of this is being led by NVDA and Tesla. So I got to keep an eye out on some of these names, and I don't want to be getting aggressive on the short side until I see everyone start kind of moving as a group. If they want to start to break down, then okay. If we wait for it and look for some indecision prints at the highs near on the Qs, then we can find that. And if it's displayed across the board, then that's just going to add more conviction within the setup. So that's my game plan right now. I do like what we got going on. We're starting to get more wicks in the 5-minute prints, and there are some key indecision prints as well too on the lower time frames, breaking it down into the 1. So you can see we're starting to get a lot of selling pressure, within each one of these individual candles, but yet I'm not seeing the volume backing that. So again, I'm going to be patient on this. If we want to kind of grab some more people, absorb some more liquidity, do another fake out to the top side, then I'll be prepared for that because I'll be able to identify it within the price action. And NVDA is telling a lot for me today as well. So we're holding 142, and just due to the size at 139 and 140, there's a lot of individuals caught offside right now. So that's why we're seeing this squeeze type price action. I'm going to be keeping my eye on a lot of them. There we go. Amazon looking like it wants to head back towards the opening price. Actually, it's right at opening price right now there, guys. So that's a positive sign for the breakdown. But you can see that the Qs aren't flinching. When you have such a big player like Amazon moving down, NVDA holding steady, and then the Qs aren't doing anything, do you ask yourself, do you necessarily want to be shorting it at this minute? And that's, for me, the answer is no. So that's why I have no issues with being extremely patient right now and waiting for that A+ or B+ setup in order for me to put on another trade. The NVDL trade was really, really nice for me. Did I execute to my full potential on Bitcoin? No, but I'm not mad with what happened on NVDL, keeping me slightly green here on the day, Sharif. So again, packing patience, and I think that we are slightly extended on some of these names, so I think you just need to hold those horses and wait for that precision entry.
All right, Sadiq wants to know about SKBL for a swing trade. So, you know, this is a bit of a convoluted name here because there's not too much data off which to work. It seems it's a bit of a newer one here. SKBL. Look, this one, you know, gets a nice bid. It seems like it's topping out with a lot of resistance at $13. You can see some wicks there do go into 14, but have a look, Sadiq. Most of the prints, almost, if not all, closing prints on SKBL are, south of $13. You got multiple wicks like this one over here, as well over here. This candle, it opened at $14, but look where it closed at $12.20. So 13, a very hard level, at least on a closing basis for SKBL to shake. Skyline Blue Builders, or Skyline Builders Group is the name of the company. They make civil engineering business, engage in construction of sidewalks, drains, pipes, and pipelines with about a $281 million market cap. Not that much volume. Look, Sadiq, it looks like a rounded top, and that I don't typically like because it means that we couldn't shake that seller at $13, and that we know for a fact because the price action tells us that. But now it isn't just about having that ceiling at 13, Sadiq. Now we're kind of putting in lower lows and lower highs, and we have been essentially since this topping tail candle here on May 20th. That one broke 13 into 14 yet again, Sadiq, but ended up closing down below $12 at $11.80 and change. And since that day, it has been a plethora of lower lows and lower highs. So I don't like the look of this one's jib. What I would say to you, Sadiq, is possibly be looking to pick it up maybe at $7 to $8. Reason I say that, look at these topping tail here showing you 7 resistance, and then over here on this day, which was March 19th, you actually got 7 support, and you could make the case for that as well over here. So $7 to $8 I'd say is a good long entry with a stop obviously at all-time lows. Don't let that bad boy go to zero. So let me know how it goes, my man, but it's not for me. currently as a long just because it's a rounded top, Joseph, so that doesn't really jive with the long position.
Okay. Yeah, Gore, wow, you're an MU? That's insane. Yeah, let me know your average price there, brother, because that looks like a really nice trade here. And look at all these micro pullbacks. This thing hasn't even essentially looked back on the day. I mean, we have a low of 96, we'll call it 97 flat, and then a high of 101.20. So, yeah, that's a really nice trade. If you're trying to catch trends, that's definitely one of them. So there you go. Micron looking really good alongside NVDA. And I haven't even taken a look at Broadcom and or AMD this morning either because the chips are pretty strong. So let's take a look at some of these names. And okay, so it looks like it's going to be kind of the same narrative across the board here. And see, and there you go, another big day here. And I mean, Broadcom put in a solid session yesterday. This thing is a silent killer. I'm pretty sure it's not too far. Okay, so there you go. It's put in a new high. Is this all-time high on Broadcom? Yeah, it looks like it there, guys. So yeah, another underlying putting an all-time high. Look at this bounce off of the bottom, 138, and then now we're trading at 257. Wow, that's crazy. Some good stuff there as it breaks that previous high there. Big time pivot, and especially after that move to the south side, 44% haircut, and then you get a big time move to the top side. So there you go. Really, really strong against trends in some of these chip names. So Broadcom, AMD, MU, NVDA. Really strong sector here today. So whoever's been involved with that, congratulations. I know Katina Man has been trading it from the lows. And I want to talk about this print actually, and I'm frustrated as well because it was another opportunity because I was focused on Bitcoin, but it is what it is. But for all my BPA traders and everyone trading around that kind of style, I mean, that's exactly what you're looking for, right? A nice steady trend in the pre-market. You get that pullback, a lasting effect with the volume weighted average price, and then you have that doji candle right there, and then there's your risk. As soon as it breaks and you get a candle that opens up below this, then you're out of the trade. But as soon as it breaches it to the top side, you're looking to get involved. And if you put on enough size, then you're catching this all-day trend. So that's a really nice trade there from Katina Man and my guy Gorv and whoever's been trading NVDA and some of these chip names, Sharif.
All right, guys, CATX continuing back into the highs. It's now a penny off the high, so we'll take a little bit of profits there. And here it is, taking out the high again. So here comes that 34. That's where we're waiting at 34s, but it's got to cross on the bid side. So showing me 32s on the bid, 34s on the ask. This one is continuing to go. It's a 40% move here on CATX. So I'm going to keep my eye out on that one, waiting for the print. And there it is, guys. So we continue to move up, 336 high a day now, over 40% now at the high. So keep tabs on that one. But BMEA is not cooperating here. Excuse me, there it is. So we're going to give this one to 07s. That's the breakout area over here. So it's already below the volume weighted average price. So I've already broke my rule by holding it this far. We'll see if it ends up losing this level or not. BMEA up 40%, but really losing the bid here in a hurry. It's KIDZ, kind of the opposite of BMEA. That's headed to the, bless you, Neil. It's headed to the high side over here, trying to take out the volume weighted average price again, but finding resistance at that predictable area, that not prior bar high, the local area high here at around 5 mid-40s. Let's keep an eye out on that $0.50, whether it's able to close it above the $0.50, which is obviously that psychological area of resistance. So KIDZ, up very nicely on the day, 40%, a former runner, one that we all know about. We've traded here on the show before, but here comes that 550, so we'll see if it's able to clear it. If it can, then maybe we can involve ourselves with it, but for the moment, I'm just going to stay clear of that one right now. Keeping my eye on FCEL as it continues to kind of put in these higher lows, but not necessarily aggressively higher highs. I'm really kept optimistic about the continuation of this bull flag, or what I perceive to be a bull flag, just by this current pattern over here at 1110. It makes a local area low right into that 560, and subsequent to that, now it's at about 573, so about 13 pennies off that area low. Let's see if we can take out that 585. Great look here for FCEL on the day, and I did happen to see that group as a whole is strong. Plug Power up 15%, FCEL up 15.8%, Bloom Energy up 8.75%. all these names that I just listed all have one thing in common. They all deal with hydrogen fuel cell technology. So something's afoot with that group on the day. What it is, I don't care. We're going to look to trade the price action, FCEL, PLUG, as well as BE, Bloom Energy, even NLAQ up 4.75%. Who remembers Nikola from the good old days? That one's up 4 points. It's at the ripe price of 11 pennies, baby. So we'll keep an eye out on that group in general. So good luck for them. And yeah, man, trade them carefully because these guys, you know, they're really not around for a long time. They tend to retrace quite aggressively. So we'll keep tabs on that, Joseph, as I watch CATZ kind of hang out at the highs.
Okay, thanks for that information, Alvin Johnson. Just in case we didn't know that, now we know. So much appreciated. I don't know if I needed to know that information, but I mean, you can't complain, right? I guess the more knowledge, the better.
I don't know which one of us is short.
Yeah.
Neither of us is short. So I don't know why you're putting that.
I don't know why you decided to tell us that. So by all means.
Anyway.
Yeah, you know what I mean. But to each their own, I guess there, Sharif. So Alvin, you're not Calvin Johnson, that's for sure. Because I mean, Megatron, probably one of the best wide receivers of all time. But yeah, I mean, let's go here, guys. Starting really, really small here. Again, I'm not going to be fighting this too often. All right, that's the thing. I'm not going to be fighting this trend too aggressively. We're going to take a couple attempts. Let's break it down from a risk to reward scenario here, guys. All right, so you can see I'm in at 77s. I'm out here. So there it is. I have about just under 10 cents of risk, and I'm going to be looking for at least 20 cents, 25 cents for an 2-to-1 risk to reward right there, all right? So keep that in mind. That's why we always have to keep our entries precise and see if we can get these moves. NVDA is starting to head towards some key support levels. Google's still struggling, but Meta looks relatively weak, and I like this for a potential short. Am I going to have to hold on to this position for a long time? I think so. I don't think it's going to be an easy grind back, an easy move back towards the volume-weighted average price, more or less a grind, all right? So I'm prepared to sit in this for a while, but again, I'm only risking 10 cents, so I have no issues with getting out when I'm supposed to, because if the market wants to continue to squeeze, then it can do whatever it wants to. I'm not going to be fighting it. I just have a quality setup here, I believe. Lots of indecision here at the highs. I do like these prints on the 1 minute and that move back towards the volume-weighted average price. So that's the game plan. Don't fight the trend. Give yourself 2 attempts, 3 max. Tight risk, and don't get frustrated if it doesn't work because you are counter trending this whole move, all right? So don't look for that extension unless we get some news that's like, oh, okay, that's not a positive sign for the market, then okay, hold on to that. But other than that, a couple attempts, you've seen that we've taken 2 stabs there on the NVDA short. That worked out for us. We're not going to ask for too much more. We missed out on the iBet trend. That's fine, but let's see if we can get this move back towards VWAP. If not, then we'll find something else. I know Tyler Verse was saying in the chat, he's like looking for these longs. I think Bitcoin can continue to climb. Let's pull up its daily chart just to see, because it was in like a 4-day downtrend, and then it's like perfect pullback volume for you to get an entry and then add some more shares too if you're already been positioned well in this. So there we go. I mean, this is the market cap, so it's still relatively the same, but you get 4 days in a row that are red, and then the volume is moderate, but I mean, you can see it slowly start to pick up. This was just giving me pullback vibes as we crack this primary uptrend. So that's what I'm looking at right there. I think this is going to be a good opportunity to add on Bitcoin. You can have your risk profile relatively tight as well too. If you're just hopping in, you just go to the lower end of these ranges, but then you're also aiming for the high, the all-time high as well too. So this is the move that you would want to look for, the break of that all-time high, and just make sure it doesn't crack through some of these key support levels. Because if you ask me, if we consolidate within this range right here and then break this is shoulder 1 head, shoulder 2 possibly forming, but again, I'm thinking this is just a possible pullback as well too. So I like Bitcoin for the long term. You guys know where I stand on that in my long-term account and in my swing account. So, and I try to trade it intraday as well. So I'm just across the board a lot of Bitcoin. But yeah, let's see what we got going on that. CrowdStrike doing really well for us. The market's still holding on to these highs. If it comes past that, then I'm going to get out of the trade.
All right, man. Shout out to Joe Mazzili. I hope I didn't butcher your last name, but you had a great question. Sharif, look at AREB. Is it because I'm Arab? Is that what it is? AREB? No, I'm playing, of course. Everything's fine. In the pre-market. And you bring up a really good point, Joe. Thank you for making me cover this because it really does play into one of my rules. Have a look at this. This thing rocketed up in the pre-market on volume. In fact, more volume total in the pre-market than it's done after the bell. And we're 2 hours deep subsequent to the bell now. So look, this is exactly why I don't take these big movers that haven't cleared the pre-market high, because all hell breaks loose when the bag holders are holding this from 245 and it can't seem to put in a higher high for its life. Case in point, area high, and you get another lower area high. So lower high, lower high, lower high. We haven't even gotten a VWAP. We can't even get to VWAP, right? And so even if this, Joe, was to clear that $1.89, $1.90 where VWAP is right now, it still have a ways away before I could trade it. It'd have to clear that high of the day, 248, 250, and not just a wick, Joe, like, oh, show me you print 249 ahead of 248. That's not really what I'm after here. I'm after clearing that level so that I don't have to worry about the guy who bought it at 245 loving life because it's back up into his range, so he sells up a storm. Somebody else sells up a storm. All the bag holders that were holding that in the aftermarket or the pre-market or whenever this was trading aggressively are trying to get the hell out of there, and that keeps a damper on the price action to the high side. That's why I insist that it clears it and clears it well. So AREB, a prototypical example of that. So thank you for pointing it out, my man. So that one, I'm obviously not interested in it, but I just wanted to make that point. CATX is continuing to take out highs. This thing has not touched the 10 exponential moving average for now an hour and 33 minutes. The last time it touched the 10 EMA on the 5 was 10:10 a.m. Every single retracement that CATX has done has been above the 10 exponential. Now, this one trades on the Amex network, guys, so you got to have permissions in order to weasel on over there. But if your brokerage allows you or you already have those permissions, load up this bad boy. It looks good for the moment. It keeps stair-stepping up, higher highs, higher lows. We'll have to see where this one goes. BMEA is kind of the opposite story. So we're about 2 pennies now, 1 penny now from getting stopped out. It has to hold up above that 207, otherwise it's over. This is already a rule breach. And now, mind you, I got into BMEA when it was above VWAP. We extracted a couple of profit takers. It dropped below VWAP. I said to myself, money fills. These are where the money fills are. And absolutely not the right call here as it continues to put in lower lows and lower highs. In fact, it kind of seems to me like a descending wedge. Right? You've got that lower high, lower high, lower high situation with essentially what I perceive to be 220 as that flat bottom, and now we're substantially below it, 11 pennies below it. So this one likely to be an L for me there. We'll keep an eye out on that one, and if it stops out, it stops out. FSL, a couple of pennies out of the money on this one. Still waiting for my DCA into this. By the way, guys, Adara looked into it. All these hydrogen adjacent names like FCell and Plug Power and Bloom Energy. No real news on them today, but they all have higher short float, so that could be the reason there. So we'll keep tabs on that for you guys. And WOLF, we're break even on this one, looking for a hold above that $1.40 and at least a move into that $1.50. We've been caught in a tight range here. Let's just say maybe a $1.40 to the high side and a $1.45 with some outlying wicks, obviously, to both the high side and the downside. So a 5 penny range over here on WOLF. Last but not least, guys, I know that this is the best looking one in the market. Even though I am in the sim, I wouldn't be trading this live. And I'm not going to trade it in the sim because it doesn't fit my trading style. SBET is a dang rocket ship, up 45% on the day. This thing closed out at $55 yesterday. It's at $80 right now with an 82.70 high. I mean, it's been very, very respectful, as you can see here on my black chart, of the 10 exponential moving average on the 5. Look at that green line. Literally every wick or print, closing print or otherwise, has been defended by that 10 EMA. But now it is finding a bit of a sideways range. Let's say about $81 to the high side, maybe 78, so about a $3 range. But it trades crazy. You just saw it there. It was at 78, now it's at 81. Like that, to me, is prohibitive. I mean, even Meta doesn't move like that. So I'm not going to touch that. I know Adara loves these, but I don't know how you feel about SPET Adara, whether it fits your profile or what the situation is. But for me, it's a no-go. Yeah, she likes it. I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. She loves the spready tickers. It fits her style. Get it, Adara.
Get it, Adara. That fits her style. Spready tickers. All right, guys, let's go over some of the top performing sectors here this morning and take a look at what we got going across the board here. So the top three, we're going to go in the energy sector, leading the way this morning. So there you go, up about 1.6% on the day, guys. And then we have the tech sector, also up about 1.1% as well, too, closer to 1.2. And then we have consumer discretionary up about 0.75% there, guys. So those are your top three. And then we're going to head to the bottom three. We'll start from the bottom up. The worst performing sector is the real estate sector, down about 0.75. Consumer staples down about 0.4. And then we have the communication service down about 0.3 as well too there, guys. So that's what we got going on. And then from just a heat map standpoint, you can see where the strength is lying. We got a lot of strong names in the energy sector and then tech sector as well too. And it's funny because I'm looking at the 6 big names right here, and I'm like, who am I missing? Who am I missing? And that's going to be Microsoft. But I don't really care too much about, I shouldn't say that, but I mean, I'm short, and if Microsoft is really strong, then that's not a positive sign for me.
Microsoft was like $1 off the all-time highs yesterday.
Is it?
Yeah.
We'll take a look at Microsoft. And I mean, Shree, you and I talked about this before. It was the only out of the big three to beat on cloud. So.
It was the only one. Google, AWS missed. Yeah.
Exactly. So that's what I was saying. Like out of the big three, it was the only one to beat on cloud. And then look what happened with the stock right after. Like this is absolutely crazy. And I mean, it wasn't like a substantial beat. It was like, I think it was 1% or something along those lines, but it was above expectations. And then there you go. You just get this massive gap up from that earnings report, and you're up 20%. Sorry about that. Yeah, we're gonna send it to Adara, and then we'll talk some more market.
Some China-related news here that's kind of been, I guess, the theme for the last quite a while. But right now I'm seeing White House sources apparently saying that Donald Trump is, quote, said or set to speak to Xi of China, Xi Jinping, on Friday. So again, White House sources saying that Donald Trump is slated or likely to talk to Xi Jinping of China on Friday. Earlier, we said it would be sometime this week. That's what we heard. So it seems like they have a date for sometime this week, and that date seems to be Friday. So keep an eye on FXI or any of these names. I know I saw some people in the chat talking about AMD. I haven't seen any news on this, but good luck here for Advanced Micro Devices. And Lisa Su, back to you.
For that, yeah, I mean, the chip space really strong today. AMD also participating as well too, guys. I mean, look at this sideways movement, and that's the thing. You can see where we're sitting at the Qs, but if things turn around here in Microsoft and a couple of the other names and they decide to break out to the top side, that can lead the market to an additional leg higher, and that's what I'm referring to. Don't keep fighting this trend, and you have to keep an eye on especially these ones, in my opinion, to see what's going on in the overall market. So that is my game plan there, guys. I'm going to be looking at that, but there's also a big name today. I know Sharif, he likes this space. This is the cybersecurity space, and I want to take a look at the expected move here on CrowdStrike. So we're going to pull up CR. Are you in that, Adara?
No, but I'm a noted CrowdStrike fan. Okay, it is one of my favorites to trade, especially on earnings.
Because of the spread, right? So there we go. Adara likes it because of the spread. So we're looking at it doesn't give me a percentage metric. Where is it?
Look at SBET, man.
Is it crazy? Okay.
It just dropped from $82 to $67 in one candle.
Well, there you go.
This is why I don't want to trade it. Like, it's okay. Somebody in the chat said scared money don't make money. You're right. Absolutely. But you also, dumbass money doesn't make money either. Okay? Into 82.70, and then it dropped into 68.53. Now, Joseph, you could have had a resting order there if you were able to identify those candles. You have to have of steel to do that. I wouldn't do that. So have at it, baby. But this is how aggressive this is. Imagine punching in at the 10 exponential because it's been respecting the 10 exponential all day. Okay, so you punch in 77.25. All of a sudden, you're out of the money $9 in one 5-minute candle.
Yeah.
And it would have definitely blown through your stops there because there's no liquidity on this. It's moving $2 at a time. That doesn't scream liquidity. I just want to make that point because you're trading these small cap gappers and I'm trading them all day. I don't want to be vouching for stuff like this because that'll just blow up your account, bro.
Yeah, exactly. You don't want to partake in that. Yeah, I agree on you with that front. That stuff is so scary, and especially if you don't have stops in place. And I know there's too many traders that don't trade with them. So boom, just like that, imagine you have like 100 shares in that, you're punching in at the highs and then you get a $9 drop. Boom, see you later. That's not a pretty hit. But what we got going on with CrowdStrike today, guys, is I think we're looking at about a 6.6% expected move here. So that can put us at a high of around 516 or a low of around 451. So very interesting stuff there on CrowdStrike. So we have these two numbers, 516, 451. Let's correlate that with the options chain to see where we have the highest levels of open interest. So let's pull this up here and see what we got going on CrowdStrike, and to see if we're going to run into any overhead resistance, or is that we might find a floor and find some possible support. So 516. Okay, 20, nothing crazy. I mean, it is more expensive. So from liquidity standpoint, not the most liquid, and nor is it going to see an abundance of open interest and or volume. So nothing outstanding on the options chain, which is slightly scary because that could tell me like, hey, if the ball really gets moving on this underlying, it can just continue to climb higher and higher. So nothing standoutish. I mean, at 500, I will point out the largest amounts of open interest. 500, we have 1.4 thousand open contracts, and then 505. We have 1,000, and then if we go to the put side, we have to go all the way down to 460 to see 1.2 thousand open contracts. So that's no substantial size there, Sharif.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm just having a look at VG. Somebody was telling me earlier that VG, actually, I think it was Benton. Shout out to Benton. VG's having a good day. He's like, look, it's nat gas adjacent. Let's have a look at what this company is. Venture Global, provider of U.S. liquefied natural gas, aka LNG, sourced from North American natural gas basins. Okay, so nat gas, that's all we need to know about that. Does it have its own independent catalyst aside from just nat gas associations? It looks like it's this. Venture Global launches site work at CP2 LNG followed by federal approval. We know what Donald Trump thinks about nat gas. We know that, for example, XAI out in Memphis is using nat gas turbines to generate power for all the data centers that Elon's building out there. It is not nuclear. A lot of complaints from local residents saying they're choking up on the smoke, this, that, and the other. So we hear a lot of the headlines that are really nuclear driven. For case in point today, CEG and Meta, Constellation Energy and Meta. But I think nat gas might have a part to play in this too, at least in the short term, because it takes a hot minute to make these nuclear plants, whether you're talking about SMRs or traditional. So anyway, VG, big move up into 1410, comes back in, kind of loses VWAP for whatever reason, finds support here at the 20 exponential. Not like I want to base anything off it, but what I see now is a move back above VWAP, but not with the same aggression. So you can kind of feel whoever's picking it up off here, it's kind of like you're picking up the scraps. It's certainly not the buy program that was basically active from 9:30 until right about 10:15. Then it shut off, and then we got a bit of a move down as people took profit. So let's see if this one turns back on again, and whether or not we continue to put in the higher highs and higher lows that we've been putting in essentially since 11:25. It's 11:54, so we're going on half an hour now of higher lows and higher highs. VG, not a bad name. Don't expect parabolic movements like SPET or anything like that, but a predictable one that you can try to base levels on. I would submit to you guys, I perceive this to be finding support at the 20, and there's just not one wick. There's 1, 2, 3, 4, all of which defended different areas because the 20 was at different areas on all those different candles. So we'll see if this one looks like it might be taking out local area highs here, 1369. That does, almost take out that 1370 area. So we'll see what VG has to offer. It's probably going to work its way now onto the side chart. We're going to take off here. We're going to take off MCTR because it spent quite a bit of time below the volume weighted average price. So I'm going to replace MCTR with VG, and we'll keep tabs on that one, possibly working my way into it, maybe with a starter position so that we can kind of manage risk. And then I'd be looking to add into the position if it was to come down again into that 20 exponential moving average, again, on the 5-minute chart, guys. Anytime I say 20 or 10 or 50, it's almost always, unless I say otherwise, on the 5-minute. That's off which I chart and which I execute. So we'll keep tabs on that. CATX continues to take out highs. We just took out 45s there, but we are having trouble with that half dollar. 348 high of day, and that came in at 1145. The 5-minute candle at 1145. Subsequent to that 1145 candle, it is now two lower highs. So the two candles after that, both are lower highs. So we'll keep an eye out on this one to see if CATX wants to continue trend, or are we going to get a deeper retracement south of that 10 exponential on the 5? That's what I'm looking at right now. It looks like I did get that add on Wolf finally over here. Where is Wolf at? There it is. So we got the add finally at Wolf. It's going to have to hold VWAP, though. What do we got on Wolf now? 43s. It's showing me 41s. So it did wick in. So the money fills were at VWAP. So that's a bit of a miss by me there. I should have been trying to get the money fills, or at least I should have had an order shadowing VWAP for the money fills as we move right back up here. So we'll see if WOLF wants to move back up. Tyler verse?
Yeah.
Sharif, Wolf getting some support at 140 levels might be worth buying. Again, I just did, my brother. You're probably a little bit behind on the stream, but I literally just added there. Can you even see it? Oh, yeah, you can't even see it, but I know I just got the ad because it just populated on my thing. Why can't I see the triangle? Huh, whatever. In any event, we'll keep an eye out on Wolf over here as it comes right back into VWAP. Joseph, what do you got?
Yeah, for sure. I'm just keeping an eye out here on Google, guys, because if it really wants to break out of this consolidation that it's in right now, so you can see we're slowly climbing higher. If it breaks out, then that's going to drag the Qs up higher, and I'm short the overall market. So I'm keeping my eye on Google and on Microsoft right now. Apple's looking like it wants to take a leg higher too, so the short may not be coming in play, guys, and that's what I'm talking about. You got to keep an eye on some of these mag, because if they've been consolidating and lagging what the market's been doing, then if they break out after we've seen this move, this can add an additional leg into the overall market, and you gotta be cautious of that. So that's my game plan. Oh, okay. So that's my game plan there. If we crack the lows, then we're gonna get out of this trade. I know there's another HPE is this evening as well too at 4:05, but we have CrowdStrike at 4:10, and then tomorrow we have Dollar Tree, which might be half decent in the morning, and then in the post market, MongoDB 5 below. Those are something that I would be looking at. ChargePoint, not necessarily. Planet Labs, don't really keep an eye on that. And then I think that's really, we're done the big names. Ooh, okay, Broadcom on Thursday after the close there, Sharif. I think that's going to be a good one. Okay, so a nice B-list class. We got Broadcom, Katina Man's favorite, Lulu right there. Lululemon, and then DocuSign as well too, Thursday after the close. So there you go. That can give us some nice potential plays for Friday. I'm looking forward to that. Love earnings season. But here you go. You see Apple starting to break out now. Google looks like it wants to get rolling. Microsoft heading back towards the top end of the range. You don't want to be short the market, especially when these guys are starting to break out. So with that being said, as soon as we open up above this high, I'm out of this trade, and that's going to be right at, there we go. Don't want to be a part of it. Adios, we're out of that trade. Not going to take too many stabs at the short, especially if these names are going to continue this breakout. SPY now putting in a new high a day. Q's put in a new high a day. Apple's not too far off of it. NVDA is still hovering around those levels, but we got three of the big names still hovering around their lows or just consolidating sideways. If they decide that they want to start participating, watch out for this market to continue to climb higher, Sharif.
Joseph, Holo is halted to the upside now on news. It's still down on the day. No, it should be up now that it's halted at 570. It's halted, I believe, at 570, and here it is. Micro Cloud Hologram purchases up to $200 million in Bitcoin and cryptocurrency-related securities derivatives. This news headline on Holo came in at 1150. I'm looking at the 1-minute chart, and that's exactly when it halted. Thank you, Jay. I see you. Shout out to Jay Lee, the OG. So HOLO, guys, halted to the upside. It looks like it will be a 10-minute halt. We got 2 dashes here on the 5-minute chart, so we are likely going to be 10 minutes deep here into the halt. Let's look, before we send it to Adara, about when to expect HOLO to unhalt, and we can do that simply by looking at the time in the sales. So you see where it says 11:50:21? That is the last print that came on the time in sales. So you add 10 minutes, you add 15, you add 5 volatility halts, guys. You know, most of you probably already know this, but we always have newer viewers. They come in waves of 5. So if a stock gets halted for volatility, let's say at 11:50, the first time, the earliest it can open, 11:55. But then, if it doesn't open up at 11:55, you literally have to wait till 12. It won't open in the intervening period. Those are different types of halts that open up randomly, not the volatility halts. So keep your eye out on that. Microcloud, hologram halted to the upside, Adira.
We are pleased as punch to welcome Neil and his lesson of the day back to the show. So we're going to get into that right after we get into our little happening now. Here is the S&P 500, and we are just, looks like maybe our second attempt at the 15-minute candle of the day, but it's coming in, as Sharif might say, fast and furious here. We had a green 15-minute candle here ending at 12, now trickling a little bit lower for that S&P 500 as we continue to rapidly approach the $600 level. The Nasdaq here trading around 527, a little bit of a flat top here with these slightly higher lows. So we're going to have to wait and see what direction the market does. But there's been a lot of these retail favorites and these smaller cap movers on watch today. One of them is going to be SPET, that is Sharp Lake Gaming. This one's been on watch as of late. Right now, though, extremely volatile. We're talking about this move here from $83 to $68. So be careful with this one. Big mover on the day. Last but not least here, I want to talk about FXI. We actually did just get some reporting coming in here. White House sources apparently saying that Donald Trump is slated to speak to President Xi Jinping of China on Friday. So possible talk here between Donald Trump and Xi Jinping on Friday. We're going to have to wait and find out what happens there. But keep an eye on these Chinese ADRs, of course, heading into that meeting. It's worth noting we've heard earlier reports that Donald Trump was set to speak to Xi, but they haven't actually come to fruition, so we'll have to wait and see if this time will be any different. We're going to send you over to Neil for his lesson of the day. Make sure to like, subscribe, and join us every single day if you're enjoying this market-related content. And if you like some infographics and that type of thing, check us out on X at TTV Research. But without further ado, Neil, lesson of the day. Take it away, Neil.
Thank you, Adira. And before we get into the lesson of the day, just a quick note, that HOLO, I was looking at it because I was watching the countdown too for it to be like a 10-minute halt. Looks like it might end up being 15. I double checked, it's a volatility halt. It's now been 13 minutes since this one halted. We'll see what happens with it. But one of the things that you might see that it is doing is breaking out, which is a theme because as the market breaks out, there were a lot of breakout trades this morning, but some of them stick out like a sore thumb in the other direction, one of which I traded, one of which I did, and I'll start with the one we did, and that is OKLO, or just look at the nuclear names. Oklo, Rigetti, probably the same thing, all gapping up on that Constellation and Meta deal. Looked like they wanted to make some continuation plays. Everything about it in the pre-market gave you a bull flag and then a clean break. But you'll notice what happens after. It's that false break at the open. I've said it before, sometimes you want to shift into like short gear. It's a quick move down after it fails at the volume weighted average price. And you're asking, okay, well, where are you going to get in? You can wait till the bottom to try some longs again, fair enough, but you should almost be shorting this thing. And you got to ask, like, how and where do you work yourself into a short when it does this? And a lot of times, if it's a short fail break setup like this, sometimes you have to get it out of your head that you were in it and got out near that top on the fail break. And that seems like the perfect short entry. But how are you supposed to how could you take shorts that are so much further away from this 47 or underneath the 47 level? Sometimes it's just about short the first available pop. On a 3-minute chart, it just so happens that's like $5 or $6 lower. But despite it being $5 or $6 lower, it still works. The first green candle after that breakdown comes right here at 954, bounce off 51.5, and that initial pop turns into resistance at 52.5. And it continues to work lower. So sometimes you've got to look at what the overall bigger picture is, which on the daily chart in here, so I didn't want to zoom out that far, We'll do this. It's a fail break of some 52-week highs on that daily chart. So it's setting up a big reversal candle. On the 15-minute, it's also a failed breakout above some local resistance that you had going into last week. The pullback is wild. That first bounce candle even gives you back into the prior day resistance and close price. So there's some definite confluence in here. And it's the first available bounce on a green candle. And it just continues trend. Now, what happens here is you have a lot of people that are in a long that don't get out on a breakout and are just trapped on that long breakout trade. And if they are, sometimes if it was a big one or they took that bull flag in and they're just holding it, waiting for some stability to work out of a larger position, they're trying to work out of it and you get that resistance underneath that prior day close. Now, it wasn't the only stock that did something like this. Whether you looked at, HIMS is also a good example. I just happen to be trading OKLO, where you get a very big break at the open, ends up a topping tail candle, and the first green on the 15 pulls back into prior support, your first available pop, and it ends up being a short trade. Now, what those have in common, big gap up and or massive move at the open where the longs are winning and exuberant. And then when it does give you that fail, sometimes it just is what it is. In the case of OKLO, your first available pop is $5, almost 10% from where you would have had that breakout trade. In the case of HIMS, depending on where you got into the long, there's 65 breaks, there's 63 breaks. That first bounce happens off 58 into 60. So again, from the highs, you're 10% from the highs, but it's still that first available short on an absolute failed break at the open. And there's a difference between, stocks can fail to break at the open and continue. Like Robinhood would be an example of, hey, well, what's something that didn't hold its initial breakout, but then continued? Robinhood. First break at 70 doesn't really hold, but does it break any pre-market lows? Does it get down into any prior day levels? No, it just stays on trend. That's one where you can continue going long. But OKLO and HIMS were perfect examples where it was just an initial fail break and it never recovered. So your best bet there is to find that first available bounce, wherever it happens to be, see it set up a short, and then work in the trend. I was the other way on the way back, so we gave it back. But sometimes you've just got to be that patient and that willing to ignore how high it was early and short near those bottoms because that's the opportunity that it gave you. That's your lesson of the day. Good luck trading that holo, by the way, everyone out there. It is now open, and in the time we did this lesson, it just went $1.50. Oh my. Good luck, everybody.
Yeah, fair enough. Hello, Ram. Thank you for that, Neil. Wise words as always. No Roberts every day, guys. You guys already know the drill. But if you're new here, he drops hot. Well, no, can't say that. He drops wisdom every day around that 12 o'clock hour. Thank you, Neil, for that. His lesson of the day. Joseph, anything you got? Yeah.
I'm looking at just this market continuing to climb higher. There is a potential short signal here on AAPL. Thing is, it's these counter moves, man. I get it. They just like, I want to take it, but then you have to think logically at times. Do you want to be continuously shorting something that's breaking out and displayed here? But this is a really nice signal. I think that ship has sailed now because this could have been a potential scalp there. You get 20 cents already just like that. As you break the low of this candle right here, it is an indecision print. You reject this level almost to the penny there, and then you get, I wouldn't call that an isolated signature, but you get a nice volume print there that says, hey, we're not going any higher, but there you go, heading right back towards the volume weighted average price. So you would have had to hop in right at the break of that candle, or if you had the ability to catch 203.13. So yeah, there it is. I'm going to take one more stab, because it does look like some of these names are going to start to head towards the lower end of the range. So that's a positive sign. And I get a better risk to reward there. So I'm going to take one more stab at this, guys, here on the TQs. Much better entry. You can just use another 10-cent stop. This one's actually even 5 cents. So I like that even more because I have a tighter risk. I know that I'm going to be incorrect quicker, but I'm also going to be using the exact same amount of shares. But that's going to just increase my risk to reward, all right? So let's hop into this trade here. Attempt number 2 on the long on SQQ. So that is short the overall market. What is Microsoft up to? Actually, I should take a look at that before we decide to hop in. And if it's not breaking out, then I think we'll be okay. So, all right, Google heading back towards the volume-weighted average price. Microsoft is trading right at VWAP. Tesla, NVDA slightly extended. Nice indecision print on AAPL. I got to listen to what the market's telling me. We're going to start really small on this one, Sharif. Better entry than what our first one was, but now our risk is only 5 cents instead of 10 cents, but then we're still looking for that same primary target, and that's going to be VWAP.
All right, I hope everybody took heed of Holo before we went to Adair for happening now in Neil's lesson of the day. This was absolutely moving. No, sorry, it wasn't moving, it was halted. But once it unhalted, it really went to the high side here. 763 now high on HOLO. This was halted at exactly 570. Okay, so it's $2, just south of $2, 763 high off that halt level. It's zigging and zagging now with the current 5-minute candle has a low of $7. So right off the bat, we could tell there's support at, that exact area. We always talk about the psychological area of support, that whole dollar and sometimes a half dollar. So let's see what Holo does. Can it take out 763? And does it lose 7, or is that going to be a predictable area off which we can pick it up? It's now up 31%. Prior to the headline that came in that said they were buying $200 million of crypto and crypto derivatives, we were negative on the day here on micro cloud hologram. So keep your eye on HOLO if you're into that kind of trade. Maybe look for the money fills in and around 7 with a stop, a reasonable stop. I wouldn't put my stop at 698 or 697. There's just too much of a chance you get stop hunted there. So you're going to have to place your stop, a healthy distance away from that whole dollar level so that the market makers and the algorithms don't stop you out by grabbing your money. Just keep in mind, a lot of people talk about level 3, right? Or level 3 is, I don't know if it's mythical or not, but the idea here is that the market makers can see where your stops are, and if there's a lot of stops amalgamated all near that one area, they'll manipulate the stock so that a lot of people are stopped out. And here we go. We just dipped again below 7. So current bar low now 694, and that's what I mean. Keep your stop a fair distance away. Now, that doesn't mean that it holds 7, okay? I'm just saying in the eventuality that 7 is held and we make another new high, you're going to feel awfully bad having a super tight stop at around that psychological support. And there it is, moving back into 7.25, finding an aggressive buy now. Let's see if it can take out current candle high, which is around 7 mid-40. So HOLO on one right now, baby, and trying to hold up at the level. So we'll keep tabs on that one. I'm still involved in VG, looking for another move higher over here. Market makers are wicked, says trading today for tomorrow. Don't I know it, baby? So we're looking for a print on VG to the high side over here. Already got the beak wet, about 15 pennies in the money, nothing to write home about. But this one is kind of the gift that keeps on giving. We got a partial fill into the high of the day. There's 365, but CATX now, for the first time on the day, actually has a 2-candle retracement on the 5, of course. And now it's actually losing, not just touching, but losing the 10 exponential moving average. And where am I long? Well, I'm long substantially lower than where we are right now at 310. So my move here is going to be to really observe what we do at that fifth of a dollar, that 320 area. Well, why? Because that's where the volume weighted average price is hanging out. And that could be an absolute money fill. So I'm going to be watching quite intently there. I'm not going to have a resting order there. Okay, I'm just not going to do it. I don't want to give back too much, sim or otherwise. Today I'm in the sim, guys, waiting for the back end to give me live access again. I did my exam yesterday. So waiting for that 320 area. So I'm going to go ahead, keep my eye on that area. I'm not going to have a resting order, but that could be of a lot of interest to me. VG, we should be printing this to the high side right now because we're waiting at 84s. It's showing me 84s on the bid side of the level 2. But again, in the sim, we're not going to get those money prints like we would live. And I never have issues getting money fills live. And that's one thing I really want to shout out Real Trading for. The fills are freaking awesome. They always are consistently awesome. Nary do I get any partial fills. I only get them in the sim, funny enough. Funny how that works, huh? So
no way.
Yeah, I got a bunch of partial fills today in the sim. Almost never get partial fills live.
How do you get a partial fill in this?
Don't ask me those questions, bro. I ain't the tech guy. I'm just observing. So, yeah, real trading absolutely rocking up the show over here. The only one that I'm quite displeased with right now is my trade on FCEL, okay? And now we should be getting another, it should be adding here because it's crossing my order. You can see my resting order there. Now we're at VWAP. I don't think FCEL is going to bounce off VWAP. That's just my hunch. Got nothing really to support that. It's just these crap names that, you know, catch a bid early on in the day. I don't know. They're not small cap gappers in the strict sense. I don't know if this one finds another move up. I'll keep my eye on it. I don't know. I'm going to keep my stop exactly where it is. It's right below that $0.50. So if it loses it, it loses it, and it'll be an L for me on the day. But we'll look to do better on CATX here as it comes into the 10. It's finding support at the 10, funny enough. So yeah, we'll see what we get there, Joe. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm gonna hop out of this queues, and that's gonna be my last attempt. I'm not gonna be trying to short this market anymore. 2 clean attempts right here, guys. So I have no worries about that. Still nicely green from that one NVDL short. But other than that, I'm gonna look to continue to follow this trend. I might get involved in some Google or some Amazon because I believe they're lagging. So if they want to start to continue this climb, then by all means, let's participate on this ride and not try to force anything against it right there. So if we construct anything past 2266, then I'm out. And I have no issues with that whatsoever because I think there's going to be some good opportunities. I mean, Tesla just put in a new high. The Q's put in a new high. SPY put in a new high. Microsoft looking like it wants to break through some key resistance zones. Apple's starting to head back to the higher end of that indecision print. And then let's take a look at Amazon. Yeah, and that's heading back towards the volume-weighted average price as well, too, guys. So you can see what I'm looking at right here. So you don't want to be short this market as it continuously makes new highs and highs. You don't want to fight this. All right, so there we go, and there we go. I'm out. Yeah, so I'm out of that one. No worries about that, guys. I'm going to get involved in some Amazon. Don't want to be shorting this market, and I believe that these names are lagging. So you can see that big uptick here that we got in Amazon. I love seeing that there, guys. 207.19. We're now above some of these key resistance zones. If we can zoom in here on the lower time frames, and there you go. Boom, 206 cracked. You can see the volume slowly starting to pick up here in Amazon as we head towards the volume-weighted average price. That's exactly what we want to see. Let's pull out our trusty trend line maker right here to see what we got going on. Once we crack that, this thing can be off to the races. What do you got for us?
All right, guys, if you want a prop firm that's transparent, fair, and actually wants you to succeed, then listen up. PropX gives you 1 to 200 times leverage, one of the highest out there, and no high watermark. It's fast payouts, it's real support, and they got a team that's actually on your side. That's why they're rated 4.6 on Trustpilot and climbing, baby. So if you're interested, use code TraderTV to get 50% off your challenge right now. Scan that QR code or click the link in the description box and start trading smarter with PropX. Pass the challenge, get funded. That sounds pretty simple, right? You pass the challenge, you get funded. Shout out to them. Great look there, and a great company. Thank you very much for that. Gorev, another day, another buy program on Micron. Let's have a look at MU, the OG Gorev, making, well, I'm going to have to agree with that, my friend. You can't just have 1 or 2 candles that are red littered amongst a sea of green, and the buy program does not get turned off there right at 11 o'clock or 12 o'clock for that matter, because it's 20 after 12 and it's still going. Gorev, 102 incoming, 101.98 high. It's a good look on the day. It's not the biggest mover in the semi-microchip world. It's up 3 4/5, going almost on 4. But there's more aggressive names. For example, SMCI, 6 1/4 there. You also have MCHP. I've talked about MCHP as well. Shout out to Stephanie Link, who's buying that. MCHP 5 1/3. She was liking this on the daily. Let's take a gander of what it's been doing since she bought it. Yeah, she's like about $30 in the money, or 20 some odd dollars in the money. She was picking it up around here. So I like MCHP. In fact, it is now above the 200 EMA and SMA. That's my invitation to get some in there for myself. I was waiting until it cleared it. So it obviously had a little bit of trouble clearing the 200, but eventually it did it, baby. It retraced off it, found support at the 20, and now it's above the 200. You know, some people will wait until they get the golden cross, that 50, to cross above the 200. To me, it's enough that you clear the 200, possibly maybe even that 65 or 67 where we topping tailed. But MCHP being spoken about really well by several people. Pi as well. I mentioned my ill-fated trade on Pi, which is Impinge, right? Big, huge downturn, loses the 200. It kind of very similar charts to MCHP, gets into that 200. Unlike MCHP though, Pi having trouble actually clearing the 200, but you feel like it might just be a short time until it does. Pi is coming from really high, guys, 240 bucks. It dropped all the way down to $60. So a huge retracement there. So that's what I'm looking at there. All right, guys, CATX continues to sell off a little bit. It is now at the volume weighted average price. This is my invitation to get in some here. So we're going to add a little bit of shares into CATX at VWAP. And I'm going to move up my stop now to current bar low. So we're going to move up our bar into about 309 loss. So if it loses 309, we're out. And we'll give this one the old try over here. We're going to see exactly how many shares we have left on CATX. We have a healthy amount, so we'll go ahead and throw that on there for the stop loss. And also, let's throw out some profit takers. So if this one does start moving up, I'd like to be a part of it over here. So let's throw out some there, and we'll throw some in the mid 40s as well. So we'll throw out some there. VG continues to do really well over here. Great call out by Benton. Thank you, Benton, for pointing this one out. Big move up here on VG. We're along $0.75. It just worked its way up to 14. We just got a print there in the mid 90s. So VG up 18%. And a beautiful V-shaped recovery off a predictable area, AKA the volume weighted average price. So we'll keep tabs on that. Jamlocky, when you have a chance, could you give your thoughts on IWM? Let's have a look here. Go ahead.
No worries. I got
IWM. So the Russell today is up 1.5. I'm talking about the index, not the ETF. The RTY June contract, the best performing name on the or major average on the day, up 1.52. It's not even close. The NQ second best, up 0.76. The ES third best, up 0.53. And the Dow, as it has been lately, is lagging up 0.4. But good luck for all four major averages. They're all green on the day. I'm just going to look quickly at IWM, unless you need to go in right away.
Yeah, we might be.
Are we delayed?
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Yeah, let's see what we got going on here, guys. We got a nice little ad read. Let's go. If you want a prop firm, are we starting it now? It's not what I got going on here, but it's okay. I can find it.
You want me to do it?
Yeah, here we go. All right, yeah. This is one of the most valuable parts of Trade the Pool. It's called VOD, Video On Demand Library, a free resources filled with real trading stories, strategy deep dives, and practical insights to help you grow. Whether you're looking to improve your entries, manage risk better, or just stay motivated, this is where experience meets education there, guys. And to make sure nothing valuable slips through the cracks, there's the note feature. See something worth remembering? Click note, write it down, and it stays saved right inside the video. Head to tradethepool.com, tap Trade VOD, and start completely free right now there, guys. So go check that out. I think that's really important. I was talking about a lot of that yesterday. So yeah, let's see what we got going on, guys. Yeah, I'm in on some Google for a potential scalp here. I think I'm just going to get out of this trade because the market is extended. Microsoft heading back towards the middle of the range, and Google, the volume profile wasn't telling me that this breakout can be sustained. So I have no issues with that small little scalp right there. Really small to break. You can see the momentum slowly start to pick up, but the volume wasn't accelerating how I would want it to, all right? So there we go. Happy with that little move here. It is only about 10 cents or so, so I have no issues with that. Started really small, take it to where we were looking, and then we get that breakout, and then that's it. I'm out of that, a nice little small scalp on that trade. Oh, okay. Now, Amazon, Amazon is really starting to move here now, Sharif. You can see that volume start to pick up on the 1 minute time frame. I like this a little bit more than Google because the volume hasn't started to pick up. Let's see if we can get involved in this here. I don't want to chase it either because we are slightly above P-Pro VWAP, which I don't like, but we are right at the 4 o'clock open VWAP, which is a nice signal. And you can see here, guys, the volume profile, right? We're slowly starting to cool off. Or not slowly, we are cooling off. So you can see, boom, boom, boom. We accelerate, volume supporting it. Look at the pullback volume, and then we take that additional leg higher, and then you can see the volume supporting. So that's a big time genuine move. That's exactly what we want to see here in the strong names, and if you're looking for a specific breakout. So I'm going to look for a small scalp on this one. Start really small here, guys, and look for the continuation and just follow the strength. I mentioned the market is overly extended right now, in my opinion, but if the lagging names want to pick up, we can most definitely take an additional move higher. Sharif, give me a second. I want to kind of put in some stops here if you don't.
Yeah, of course.
If you don't mind.
STFUFFS. I love your name. And like I looked at it immediately and like immediately came to me what it meant. So shout out to you. Can't say those words, obviously. Get that. $5 super chat. Thank you very much, my man. Tesla bull flag getting ready to launch. 354.62 is the next resistance. The 20 exponential moving average is at 351.71 and could be the trigger to go. Let's have a look at TSLA. Not really my wheelhouse, but I'll do it for you because I like your name. So let's load up TSLA over here. Excuse me. So I don't know off what time frame you're charting, but you said the 20 is at 351.71. So it's certainly not on the 5. Let's go to the 1. Let's see. So 351.71. Yeah, you're definitely charting on the 1 there, which is cool. I mean, I have no problem with that. I just happen to like charting on the 5. In any event, Tesla has been an absolute monster off the 10 EMA on the 5. Let's just increase that thickness over here. We'll go 3, so you can kind of see that. Yeah, this is a fantastic look for Tesla today. It had a bit of a tougher last few days, that is, and finding a nice bit of a bid today. 362.58. I mean, I don't know how you feel about this, Joe. Tesla possibly taking out highs. STFU saying basically 354.62 is the next resistance level there. Let's look at that. 354.62. So I don't know what you're seeing. Maybe this area over here, 354.62. You're kind of getting the line of best fit on Friday's pre-market price action. I'm not sure. Are you using fibs or what are you using to base that exit on or that area of resistance? Let me know. But either way, Tesla is money buy off the 10 EMA. That's where I would pick it up and look for a trend continuation there. If it loses the 20, then I would be out. The money fills feel like they're somewhere in between the 10 and the 20. And you can kind of see that with this doji candle there at 1150. That would money fill. If you got filled around, 350. Couple of bucks in the money there. So let me know how it goes, my man. Shout out to you. Great name there. Ozan saying 355.44 will be resistance. Ozan disagreeing with you, STFU. Have a look at what he's saying there. Wisp away. Did I hear increased thickness? Drop it low. All right. I'm just talking about the thickness of the moving average on the chart. Let's not get carried away.
Not the other thick there.
Yeah. We're taking Prince over here, Joseph, on VG. This one continues to go higher. An aggressive name today on VG, up almost 20% now. It's been a beauty off the the volume-weighted average price. Just took a print there above 14. Now the next level, I'm actually waiting at the level that it was showing on the ask side of the level, 214.09. The high of the day is 14.10. But we didn't cross, so didn't get the print there. So keep my eye out on that. But it's really FSell that's going to make or break now because we just got the ad on FSell at the volume-weighted average price. So this is, it either moves up or we take the L on the day. So FSell up 12 1/3, but well off the highs, guys. And decision time here.
Decisions? Decisions. All right, yeah. One was just made right there. Nice little breakout. Another scalp on these potential fake breaks here, guys. I like that one there on Amazon. We might continue in this move, but I'm going to wait for a pullback, a retest of some of these levels, and then get myself a better entry, maybe even below the volume-weighted average price. So we just took 2 small scalps there on Amazon and Google, but Google heading right back towards the higher end of that range there, guys. So you can see that displayed right there, right where I get out. But we're knocking on this door multiple times, and we can't seem to punch through just yet. I'm not saying that it won't happen. There's a chance that it is, but I want to see the volume slowly start to pick up there.
The OG Darwin saying that there is Microsoft antitrust news. Here it is.
Oh.
Exclusive. French watchdog likely to rule on quant request by September and on whether to start Microsoft probe, sources say. Quant has asked France antitrust regulator to take action against Microsoft for allegedly driving down the quality of the French search engines results via Microsoft's Bing platform. People with direct knowledge of the matter said Quant, which has historically relied on Microsoft's Bing platform, wants a regulator to take interim action against the U.S. tech giant while investigating its complaint, their sources said. This really interesting headline, obviously yet another antitrust push by regulators against the Mag 7. My only sorry to interrupt you, by the way.
Yeah,
My only interesting thing about this is that Donald Trump has made it very clear in his negotiations with Europe, he wants European regulators to lay off American companies and stop taxing them by taking these regulatory, litigation against them. So whether or not this is going to be something that it continues on or it ends with a trade deal between the two trading blocks is going to be interesting over here. Obviously, probably a little bit of leverage. Now, this has been launched in the ongoing negotiations between the European Union and the United States. I think Adira has some more information for us.
She got some more stuff for us there, brother.
So basically what happened here is going back to mid-February 2025, so a couple months ago, this was initially reported here by Reuters, just to give you guys some background on the story. So basically the report was that the French antitrust agency, which is the Autorité de Concurrence, would be investigating Microsoft with regards to Bing access. So now it just sounds like the company that led or spurred on this action, which is of course called Quant, they want interim action. So while we have this French agency deciding whether or not they even want to probe, the extent of the probe, this Quant is basically saying we want action now in the meantime while the investigation takes place. And it sounds like, according to this Reuters report, this one that just came out now, it doesn't even sound like the probe has even begun. It sounds like they're going to be waiting until September to rule on this request from Quant and whether or not they even want to look into the company in the first place. So this doesn't sound, at least in the immediate term, particularly bad for Microsoft, guys. Back to you.
Yeah, it feels like it's a little bit light there. And it's on top of that, it's a French regulator. I don't mean to disrespect France, but it's not all of Europe. It's not the European regulator on behalf of all the jurisdictions. So we'll have to see how that goes. Joseph, shout out to Benton, man.
Shout out,
Benton, you called out this one. Shout out to you, my man. VG keeps on going here. We just took out the high of the day by a substantial amount. I think we were 14.10 high a day. We just got into 22s, and this thing keeps going. It does not have a red candle since 11:20. It is 12:33. That is an hour and 13 minutes of no red candle on VG. On the 5, of course. I don't know what is happening on the 1 or the 3, but this thing is on one right now. What a move up by VG, the nat gas adjacent name. They do have a headline, so keep your eye out on this one. And it's a steady state one. You're not having to have your emotions all over the place because it moves up 50 pennies, drops, 30. It's kind of just a higher high, higher low situation. So shout out to you, my man. 14.23 high day, Joseph, looking to go more.
Yeah, good look there. And this is what I was referring to earlier, guys. Like some of the big names kind of lagging. I know we've seen the likes of Tesla and NVDA trending throughout the whole session, but then we had Apple, Amazon, and Google just trailing everyone else. And then you can see them start to break some of these resistance zones and head towards the high day. Apple just put in a new high day trading at 203.61. And this is what I was referring to when you have them, these big names slowly trailing the overall market, and then they start to pick up steam. Look what happens to the Qs. Yeah, that's
He's
exactly,
done.
Yeah, that's
He's
exactly
done.
what I want to see.
He's
know,
done.
Yeah,
I
that's not
can't
even
wait
close.
for Timofino
I don't even
to
think that's
walk
gonna be-
all over
Is it
him.
locked though? Who's
It is.
doing
It
that?
is. So, guys, Devin Haney, Timofino Lopez,
Yeah, that's
locked
huge.
in August 16th, 2025.
Hey,
Can you guess
he's
where?
gonna knock out,
Just guess where. You only need one guess.
Madison Square.
No, come on now. Who's running business right now?
Is it over there?
It's over there. It's in
over
Saudi.
there. Yeah, there we go.
August 16th. That's going to be a
You
great
know
one.
who?
bro.
They said that they wanted Connor Ben to fight Devin Haney.
I think Timofino's gonna. Okay,
He's gonna knock
we
him
saw Timofino on the Ryan Garcia card
yeah,
on
he
the
was the
Friday
best
fight.
performer.
By far. By far. Came in jacked. Came in fast,
Ready.
looking like aggressive. I like that action. He's gonna poop all over
like
Devin Haney.
Prime Tio, I always believed he was going to. I thought he had the ability to beat Gervonta. But then he kind of just took a kind of like a.
I agree with that.
Yeah, I think
Gervonta
he was the biggest threat. His defense is kind of trash, but I mean, who am I to say that or anything like that? But I mean, I thought Tio was going to be that one. Yeah, I thought Tio was going to be the guy to face Tank and beat him. But
a lot of the guys like Canelo, I think he faced Mayweather a little too early in his career. I think he maybe
Canelo.
Remember? Fought him in 09 or something like that, and it was just like way too early. He always complains about that too. So.
I don't think regardless. I don't think anybody's going to beat Floyd. I actually
not in his prime. No,
I've been like utmost respect for Floyd as of recently.
Goodness, yes.
Like, yeah, he's
I didn't like his attitude. I'm just gonna be for a long time.
I didn't think he was that good at talking ish.
No, but like he played the bad guy really well. Like he was, it was always about like Money Mayweather. He switched from Pretty Boy Floyd to Floyd Money, and I was like, I just didn't like that. Then when I started boxing and I started fighting out of the shell, and then you start watching the videos to kind of understand,
so
you just have a whole new respect.
You're a Philly guy?
The Philly shell, of course. Yeah. So like how he does it. And I told you yesterday, that's why I was watching Broner as well. But Broner is just hot garbage.
Yeah, Broner, he did. I don't even. See, that's the thing. I'll give myself credit where it's due. I like to like shell. So if I'm against a shorter opponent, shell all day. But then I have no issues with Dimitri beveling it and just going.
Yeah, so you can go like this out of the shell as well.
Yeah.
Especially if you want to square up. Yeah, exactly.
Off the shoulder, and everything we get.
You don't have to be in the shell the entire time.
No. You don't have to shell the whole entire time. Wow. What a breakout here on Amazon, guys. A big time move there. 207.40 we were in, and then you can see that we took that additional leg higher. Apple's still climbing, put in a new high a day, and now we're heading towards the wick highs there on Amazon. NVDA taking an additional leg higher. Microsoft breaking through some of these resistance zones there, Sharif. Tesla put in a new high a day as well, too. So, I mean, if you're looking to short it right now, you're going to have to be extremely patient in order to get involved in some of these names. I mean, we took 2 attempts on the SQs, and then I'm like, yeah, I'm not going to be trying to short this market anymore, and look what's happened. I mean, imagine I was just bag holding these positions. That would not be fun. My whole day would be wiped out, and I don't want to be doing that. I want to stick to the system. I have definitive stops. We stuck to them, and that's why we still have a green day, and then we take 2 nice little scalps there on Google and on Amazon as well, too. Now I do believe that we are starting to reach that extreme extension standpoint, so I will be waiting for some key indecision points, but I'm going to be waiting for an A++. You can see I took 2 stabs at it already. I'm not going to be just throwing some YOLO shots in the air. I want to see an isolated candle print via a hammer or some form of doji, and then I want to see extreme stopping volume telling me, hey, take this short. If I see anything less than that, I will not be taking any more moves against this market. Pug life.
See that? Crazy.
Just sharing some of the profits from NVIDIA and CRWV call option swings that closed today. Keep doing what y'all do. Pug life, much love, brother. Thank you for that $50 super chat. That is big time. And then I think we have someone gifting memberships as well too out here, Sharif. Bob the dog.
That.
Bob the dog, welcome.
Get it, Bob.
I mean, Bob's been in here for a while there, guys. So shout out to Bob himself. Let's see what else I got to see. No shorting, Joseph. Buy the dips all day. It looks like 2NY. I mean, that's what we did there on Amazon and Google. I took 2 attempts on these Qs. I'm like, what am I doing? Let's find some longs. And we found Google and Amazon there. Scott Thompson, can we take a look at the Qs, please? I don't know what the next level is here, for sure. I mean, not too long ago, we were only 3% off of the all-time highs. So let's zoom out, first of all, there, Scott, and see where we're sitting at. Bang. We just punched through some key resistance zones right there. 525 and change. We break that. We're now at the top end of this range, probably less than 3% off the all-time highs now, guys. 2 1/5 roughly. So there we go. We're not far off it. This is the move. And now I said that we're not going to see an all-time high this year. Am I more wrong? Absolutely. The market is absolutely zooming off of Liberation Day lows. So here it is, man. I can't really complain whatsoever. Don't fight the trend unless you have that A++ setup. Be patient. Wait for those precise entries, and then sure enough, you'll be able to find
Jarhead trader, sorry to interrupt, Joseph.
Yeah, what do you say?
Eyes on NVTS. Here it is. Navitas Semiconductor shares trading higher after the company announced it's entered a partnership with Brightloop for hydrogen fuel cell charge. Okay. Now it's all making more sense. That's why they're running en masse like this. Okay, so there is some sort of, let's call it semi-catalyst. So NVTS is the ticker. They're not exactly a small cap gapper. They're about $1.25 billion market cap. They've done a fair amount of shares. I'm talking about NVTS. I'll show you the chart in a second. 65.2 million shares traded on the day. So let's have a look at this one and see what the chart looks like over here. Let me just load this up. One moment, please. Okay, just 1 second, Adair. I'll throw it to you in 1 second. Just going to look at the technicals on NVTS. Look, it did breach the 10 and the 20. It was a little consolidative. I want to say during the midday over here. Let's just say from basically 10:15 till about 12:20. So a couple of hours of, let's just say, mostly consolidation. And to me, I observe this to be a hard trade. Why do I say that? Because it really didn't show respect for any of the levels off which I would have gotten in. Not the 10, not the 20, not VWAP, nor the whole dollar level. So to me, NVTS, I'm not saying I'm staying away from it, but it's a bit of a tougher one to decipher from a technical sense, at least intraday. Adira, give us more information on this, please.
I just want to provide a little bit of context. So that story came out, it was published right at 8:30. Some of these news briefs often are on Benzinga, so it came out just about an hour before the open. But Navitas also had a bit of a catalyst last week with NVIDIA, or I guess 2 weeks ago now. I was on I think it was the day before I left, so it would have been May 21st. I was on the market recap with Neil. And at that point, we actually did get a little bit of a catalyst for NVTS, and it had to do with, I guess, an NVIDIA-related partnership there. So NVTS, this is not its only catalyst. It does have some other steam behind it, for lack of a better term, and it has a 21% short float as well. Back to you.
Much for that, Adara. Always giving us the context we need and the information we need. Shout out to Adara. Yeah, look, interesting look on NVTS. Again, though, as I just finished saying, to me, the technicals are a little harder to digest and to figure out what it's doing. So great move, just not for me on the day. Going to stick to what we're doing over here. Wolf seems to be defending the volume weighted average price. I don't want to say it's on its last leg because it's had support here or it's had respect, for the volume weighted average price. It's F-Cell that now is on its last leg. 548, I get stopped out. It's showing me 551, so we're going to keep an eye on that. We're going back to Adara. We have breaking news.
Ticker I haven't said in a while here, Sharif. DJT, this one pushing into day's highs. Now, if you're wondering why, I'm not seeing a source for this yet, but it looks like there is a report here suggesting that Donald Trump, or I guess his company, his brand, is going to be launching branded crypto wallets and trading application. Apparently, the goal of this is to encourage supporters to purchase his meme coin, which would be the Trump coin, and other crypto assets. So Donald Trump breaking into the branded crypto game, it sounds like it. As you can tell, traders of DJT very much are a fan. Back to you.
Buying?
Bro, we did the exact same reaction at the exact same time.
I just don't like it. Like, I like what he's doing policy-wise in so many other areas. I
just don't like his involvement.
I absolutely hate this meme coin thing that he's involving himself with. It stinks of conflict of interest, and it's not good for the crypto market, man. Where's Trump coin at? relative to all-time highs. I don't know.
I don't even care.
Like,
I
hate
like we can pull up Trump coin.
It's
here
not
to
for
see.
me, man.
Yeah, well, I told you guys about the story of my one buddy who decided to buy this because it's the next big thing, and I'm like,
no, it's not.
Like, all right, buddy. I mean, he is my buddy, but I mean, sure. To each their own. I don't even.
Your friend bought Trump coin?
Yeah, I told you. I was. Yeah.
TR.
Oh yeah. Whoa.
There you go. Where are we at?
Trump coin.
Come on, show yourself, Trump coin.
Yeah, $11.55 with
Show the people.
with an all-time
This
high.
great looking chart.
Yeah, and what's that one guy who won? There's I forget the guy's name who won the dinner. He's the largest holder of Trump coin. I think he's like a Japanese individual. Yeah, here it is. He's got like $2 million in this thing or something like that. I mean, if you got cash like that to throw around,
I think he threw
it was
200.
Yeah. No way.
There was a guy there.
No
the range
way.
was 500,000. The range for people who got invite. I think the cheap or not the cheapest. The least invested was $500,000. I think the dude you just mentioned was 200.
200 million?
I'm pretty sure. I could be wrong.
What kind of cash you got, Justin Sun? That's his name. Yeah, I mean.
There you go, Justin.
China.
Yeah, he's from China. I know. I didn't want to.
What does he have? 200 million or 20
I'm pretty sure. I don't know.
It was somewhere. It had a 2 in front of it. I know that. But I don't know, Sharif. If you had that type of cash, would you be throwing it at Trump coin?
No, man. No, I wouldn't be. And I get the attraction. He's president. You know, things run up. But like, that's not really why people are getting into crypto. Go ahead. Absolutely, Andre. Is it ready? Is now? Okay. Absolutely. Let's talk about easy trading computers. Guys, traders, are you ready to fully optimize the computer you use for trading every day? I know I am. Well, Easy Trading Computers and Trader TV have teamed up to bring you an exclusive sale on the world's most powerful AI-ready computers for trading. This limited time desktop and laptop sale includes exclusive performance upgrades, bonus gear, and 0% financing. That's attractive in and of itself. And it's only for Trader TV viewers. Yay! Scan that QR code, enter your email address, and unlock access before it's gone. This exclusive sale is ending June 12th at 5 p.m. sharp Eastern. So you scan that QR code or click the link in the description to find out more. Shout out to the great folks there at Easy Trading Computers. I remember when I first started trading, had this old MacBook Pro. It was like 2013, I think, and this was 2020, so 7 years deep, right?
7 years deep.
It couldn't handle Trader Workstation. It could not.
Oh man,
No,
my
bro.
MacBook, I got it in 22, I think. My MacBook can't handle
No?
it whatsoever. No.
Oh, but did you
Parallels.
increase the RAM like I showed you how?
No, I
That's
never
the trick.
increased the
I'll show you the
RAM.
trick.
Okay,
Yeah.
On Parallels, it can't hold it.
No, eh?
No.
It's
So
like,
I have
that's
to
the
run
thing.
it on actual iOS.
So I ended up getting a gaming computer.
Yeah,
I just ended up getting a gaming
same.
computer. I'm like, okay.
Same.
Well, that's just what's going to run the
I have a
best.
Ryzen 5 with 1 terabyte SSD.
That's
I think.
badass.
Yeah.
That's
It's-
badass.
yeah,
You got an SSD?
Yeah.
So it's super
It's
quick
super
then.
quick. Yeah.
All right, your Kendo, New York City. Thank you for the $20 super chat. Much respect to you guys. Great content as always. CNBC got nothing on you. Everyone, let's get the likes up. Joseph, I forgot to talk about that. I told myself I would remember the likes, and I always forget. So guys, in case you're wondering why I want the likes, forget about what I want. Tell him, Kat.
Like and subscribe today.
We miss Kat. And in case you guys are really old viewers, do you guys remember this guy?
If you don't
remember this
like
guy?
right now, subscribe to
He's gonna dunk on you.
dunk on you.
Ooh.
Get it, Feifei. Shout out to Fahad.
Yeah, he never did it.
He never did, eh? Yeah, Fabian, because like he's caught like midstream there. We don't even see the arm.
Yeah, you don't even. Oh
coming,
my days,
coming
Google
forward.
is just gone now. Wow.
Take it over, baby.
Yeah,
Take it
Google.
over.
We're gonna get those likes and subscribes up though, guys. Just do us a solid. I'm looking at about 533, not quite 10% yet. Let's get to 20%. 1K likes. What should we do for 1,000? I'm not. Actually, I shouldn't even go down that road. Sorry about that. But I mean, here we go in Google. Nice big time breakout. But guys, let's get those likes to 1,000. 1,000 likes. That's not asking much, 5,000 of you. All you gotta do is just click this little button right here. Does the channel a solid. And I don't know how many they got on
You have the option to like and subscribe. This trade has unlimited upside.
All right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Sitting in my b-boy stance, feeling bored. Yeah. I know you used to do a little breakdancing back in the day too, no, Sharif?
What?
You said you used to do a little breakdancing.
Oh, God, yeah. You want to see?
Yeah.
Okay.
Hey, you got videos?
Oh, yeah.
All right. Let's go. There you go. Hey, there it is. 1,000 likes. We get Sharif's breakdancing videos. I used to be able to do the worm and stuff like that.
Yeah.
That's like
basics,
basic
guy. That's
basic.
basic.
Yeah, other than that.
Uh-oh.
Oh,
Here he is
this
again.
guy said this
Liability.
multiple times.
Don't read it out loud
not.
until we vetted it. You know what, Big Spile? I like you so much.
Yeah.
On a different day, not today, I would have been reading that in an accent. And you know which accent, because you're writing it like it needs to be read in an accent. You joker. Shout out to Big Spile. Appreciate you, brother. China, very good country. Very good food, excellent leader. Shocked a Chinese man owns the most DJT coin. Can you say back channel at the dinner? Big Spile, he's in a trade war with them. Are you not noticing what's going on here? Like, Donald Trump is not pro-China. I disagree with that completely. But I know how you feel about these type of things. So as always, my man, I respect your opinion, but I disagree, okay? I don't like, though, the meme coin thing. That's part and part separate from the whole China issue there. But yeah, I mean,
don't be rude.
I think he could be doing things in crypto a lot better than launching his own coin.
Be more efficient and then launching his own coin.
I don't think that that's the best move.
So what do you think?
Kind of like a rug pull type thing, like with these meme coins.
I'm
not saying he's
would be
rug
a bigger move, be more of a Bitcoin.
Like pop your own exchange. Get into the exchange game. Rival some of these companies like yeah, exactly. Why does it have to be through the meme coin types of
Well, I mean, we got Robinhood.
For me.
We don't want too much competition against my good friend Robinhood there.
Well, I mean, it's healthy competition is okay. I'm not saying Robinhood loses the battle, right? But you know.
No. I think they've got a solid base, right? We've seen some of their numbers for the while. Man, this Google trade is going insane. Yeah, we can do VinFast, guys. Keep an eye on this Google tape. It is extremely strong and continuing to move. I talk about lagging names starting to pick up steam. Wow, absolutely amazing stuff right here. Don't be shorting this stuff just yet, guys. Okay. All right, let's check it out here. Are we ready? All right. VinFast shines at Indonesia Auto Show. VinFast stole the spotlight at the 2025 Indonesian International Motor Show in Surabaya, grabbing 4 major awards. The VF3 was named the best EV city car with 89% of 50,000 public votes, beating out Chinese and Japanese rivals. It was also the most driven car at the event. The VF6 picked up favorite new car launch praise for its sleek design and smart tech. VinFast buzz is growing fast in Indonesia, Southeast Asia's largest and fastest growing EV market. Surabaya. Hopefully I didn't. Did I say that?
What'd you do?
Surabaya. Is that how you say it?
No.
I don't even know.
Tell him, Neil. 4:30, Neil.
Ooh, 4:30.
Okay. Right. Neil's doing a video promo there. I'm just trying to get my TikTok video, so if you want to keep going there,
we'll keep going there. I was thinking of something else. I had something on the top of my mind. It slipped it here now.
What happened?
But we'll figure it out. Oh yeah, I wanted to talk a little bit about this boxing match here, but we got plenty of time to that there, guys. So I mean, let's see what we got going on. Can we pull up my screen here momentarily?
Pull it up, baby.
Yeah, pull it up there.
Pull up. Get it, Adara.
So yeah, there we go. Yeah, I mean, a scalp there on Google, but I mean, the move was continued. So a little bit of a missed trade on that one, but it is what it is. We accepted our fate. We took that move. I didn't see the volume start to pick up how I wanted, so I got out. That's okay. Let's see what else we can find. I mean, Tesla continuing to climb higher. I know Sharif was talking about that with an individual in the chat. But what I did was I wanted to pull up the chain to see what we got going on. And I mean, 360. All right, yeah. Yard sale. Yard sale. What, yard sale? Yeah, it's a yard sale. That's what you got to do. All right, we got something hot. No, Sharif, don't do it. Don't play it.
Why not?
Don't play it, brother.
Should I play the VWAP video instead? I know that one's a lot better.
No, it's not. That's not what I'm getting at. There. What I'm getting at is if we don't have 1,000 likes, we can't play the video.
Oh.
We're not asking for much. Just 1,000 likes.
Yeah, guys, let's get that like count up. Come on, guys.
1,000 likes, and then we get to see Sharif's breakdancing video. Oh. I think that's a fair trade-off.
I have better videos too. This is the only one that I actually, because I was at my my parents' house and they were playing home videos when my sister came up from California, so we played some old stuff. So I just took out the cam phone, recorded a little bit. But there's actually better sequences.
What year is it?
You'll see. It's tagged.
Well, I don't know. We'll see. We got to get 1,000 likes.
Yeah, well, we got to get 1,000 likes before we got that, man. I mean, that's kind of crazy right now.
You know what's funny? So when I guess I was maybe just a teenager, 12, 13. At the time, and I wanted a camcorder, so I got a camcorder for one of my birthdays, then that's what I started making videos. Yeah, so like I have a collection of me and my buddies doing like stunts and like crash videos at like 12, 13 on the camcorder, and we used to make like skateboarding videos and stuff like
fantastic.
that.
That was all working up to the VWAP video. There was all a lead up to it, baby.
All the lead up to the VWAP video there. Yeah, exactly. All those years of recording.
Now, what did you guys do? Did you guys do skating?
Oh, dude, you don't even understand. So, like, I had like apple trees in the back of my in my backyard. So, like, we put a piece of plywood. This is one of the videos, and like we jumped off the tree into the plywood.
Wow.
Yeah, it was like stunts, and like we had bikes, and we would run into each other and like just do crazy stuff at that age. And honestly, if I would have, I didn't know too much about YouTube, but I feel if I would have started to post those videos, I could have been like Jake Paul or Logan.
Especially in the beginning. It's like when it was like organic. Yeah, 100%, bro.
Yeah,
a lot of people did make it that way, though, didn't they?
It was like organically, and it's funny. If I want to watch some of those videos because they're most definitely interesting. But how many likes we got here now? 831.
Shout out to Big Spile, man. Sharif, when are you posting that manscaping video? When we get $100 super chat, I'll throw that on there, and only from you, Big Spile, nobody else.
Video?
No, I'll make one.
Oh, okay, all right.
What's the deal with Holo? 1 second, Andre. Holo, I want to mention, guys, MCTR. This is one that we had on our side chart today. I took it off because it was trading below the volume weighted average price. It has since rocketed up, taking out all the previous area highs. It is halted at 1287. Shout out to Scott H. Thank you for pointing that out. 163% halted at 1287. Sorry to keep you waiting, Adara.
No problem there. I just wanted to let you guys know. Here is the Nasdaq near day's highs. Fed's Cook set to begin speaking at 1 p.m. Now, I was seeing on Trump's schedule tentatively there was maybe a press conference here with White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt. I haven't heard any updates on that, so unclear if that's happening, but I'll let you guys know if that does occur. What I do know is happening for sure is Fed's Cook commenting here at 1 p.m. So just be aware. In a couple minutes here, we're going to start getting some Fed speak. Back to you.
I'm satisfied with the 850 likes we got. Should we play the video?
Assassino, let me know when it's ready. But Assassino, can we play the music with it as well, so that it goes a little bit? What's that, Ramran?
Depends what it is. Mike, please.
Yeah, Mike. Well, even though if it's like a sample, right? So we should be okay. We're not going to play the entire song
so it's
there.
Posted. It's TikTok age. Okay.
So this is what you're going to see, something called the windmill.
The windmill. Oh, okay. So
I'm sure you know what the windmill is. Yeah. So the idea here, the windmill you can get into from many variations. The one that I started with there was on the ground, so you kind of kick your leg up, generate power, and then you spin. But you can get into the windmill through other moves, like the shuffle or it's called the frog. It sounds stupid, but it's actually called the frog. Or you can actually be standing up, doing the standing up shuffle, and then jump in, roll off your shoulder into the windmill, and just kind of roll. It's kind of like almost like a tuck and roll for
So did you have like a posse? Did you have like a little b-boy posse?
Absolutely. So there was an area in my high school right under one of the main staircases. We would go hide because the teachers didn't want us to break dance because of liability issues,
you guys have
right?
to put the cardboard on the ground?
No, because it was what is it called? Tile. So it was decent, right? But my parents' house there, this is my old parents' house, my parents' old house, I mean. They don't live there anymore. I don't know, Assassino, are we ready to go? Okay. Almost. All right.
Almost. We can continue. 898, another 100 to go. Let's get it, and then maybe we can get that video rolling faster. I am short.
We're good to
Tesla
go.
For some reason. I don't know.
Let's go, baby. Speed, baby, speed.
99.
Yeah, it was 99, my guy.
Let's go. That's crazy.
Thank you, Adira.
Yeah, that's crazy.
No, I'm gonna get better ones than that. I actually have like full ones. I have me doing like I could never actually execute the flare. Do you know what the flare is?
No.
I'll show a video super quick of what it is. So the flare was like what the gymnasts do, or whatever.
Yeah.
And that one was always harder because you had to generate speed with your legs like up in a V in the air and then catch yourself and your feet don't hit the ground. That one I couldn't execute, but I tried and I would like get 1.5. So there's a video of me doing that. And that was like my my Achilles heel.
What are the chances of you being able to execute that now?
I can do the windmill still? But not with the same speed.
How you feeling after?
Okay.
All right. Yeah, solid.
The later I get too, like always in the summer, it's a lot easier than in the winter because it's just like carrying too much weight.
That's cool.
Thanks for sharing. The missus and I do a move. Yeah, okay, bro.
Yeah, bro. This guy.
He calls it, it's fine. I'm gonna read it. The missus and I do a move called the wheelbarrow. Okay,
Right.
that's great, bro.
Yeah, I mean,
I'm gonna send a video of me reading the comments to your kids. I'm sure they want to hear about that, right? Yeah. So when when things are clunking around in mommy and daddy's room, they know what's going on next time. Thanks for sharing. Boom. I don't have a filter, guys. Like that's just how I am. I'm gonna speak it real, and that's just kind of my modus operandi. Thanks for sharing, Tuan V. Thank you for the 1,000 UN Tuan Vo. Excuse me, not Tuan V. Shout out to you guys. I appreciate that. Nice comments from you guys there, by the way. Did 12-year-old Sharif have a mustache? No. He didn't. And I was not 12. That was 16 in the video, bro.
It looked like you had a stash there, did you?
it was starting to come out. 16, It started coming out a little bit, right? MCTR open. I see it, Scott. I see it. It's open now. 1485 high a day on MCTR. Very aggressive move up here. Be careful with this one. Like many other names, it's nary got a red candle right now. So keep your eye on this one. Let's see what it does and whether it comes into a predictable level of support. Right now, I'd like it to drop a little bit closer to the 10 exponential on the 5 before I get in. But these are where the money entries are. And I've talked about this before. The way to trade these on the breakout like this is to look for a micro pullback to the lower end of the candle and then look for the break of the current candle high. That's 1485. We'll keep an eye out on this one. Let's see what happens, Joseph.
Nice. Okay, I'm just sending over. Did you have anything specifically you want to put on the poll? I got DJT, Google, and Test.
Whatever you want, throw it on.
All right, brother, throw it on there. We'll throw one more on there, and that is going to be the king. Bang. All right, there we go. Join the Olympics? Yeah, I mean, he looks like, oh yeah, you can go up against Raygun. I think you got a good chance against Raygun.
Bro, I don't think I could handle that kind of talent.
You can go up against Ray.
No, she's too good for me, bro. I mean, look, I don't think she was Olympic worthy, but I just don't like the kind of heat she was getting. She was getting crapped on from everybody.
Obviously,
you know what I mean?
insane.
Like the poor woman, man. Just for a little.
Well,
Say that again, Adira?
They were really mean to her. I did not like it. Okay, no. She had a cute little name. Sure, there were some nepotism allegations. Not great, but you know what? She did something, and she was brave enough to do it on the world stage.
Adira, would you feel differently if she wasn't a Nepo baby?
I would. I mean, like I said, I'm sympathetic either way. I think the sympathy probably for everybody would go up, and I would actually argue she'd probably get slightly less heat if she wasn't. I'd argue, okay, Nepo baby's a little bit more complicated because it was through her husband, but I digress. Either way, yeah, I think people are mean, so people probably would have been mean regardless, unfortunately.
Boom. Just shut the door and make sure to like and subscribe, guys.
There you go. Yeah, I mean, there you go. Tough competition with Raygun there. So you gotta keep your eyes on that one. All right, guys. I'm short Tesla. Your ribbon down below says TSL under short. Yes, exactly. It does. It does say that epic strategy. I am short Tesla off of these highs. Small size, guys. Just putting something on kind of for you, and to see if we can get this move back towards the volume weighted average price. I mean, we're in this all-day trend. Amazon heading back towards the volume weighted average price. Microsoft couldn't sustain that breakout, and Apple giving back some of that gain, some of those gains that some of the grounded gains, sorry, not too long ago. So we can see if we can get a move back towards VWAP. And in 360, there's a little bit of open interest there on Tesla. I know we're not there just yet, but I do like that 5-minute indecision print that I'm seeing. Is it an isolated signature? Not quite, but I mean, we are extremely extended off of VWAP. You get a nice solid print right there on this doji candle, looking for this move back. I think this will be a good target, 351 roughly. Even if it wants to get there, I think maybe 352 actually would be that first target where you would see a potential bounce, even if we get to those specific levels. So again, tight risk, not gonna hold on to these. We keep taking these stabs on the short. They're not working, but we take some scalps to the long side. They seem to be working. So this will be another attempt on the short side. Is it going to come to fruition? Maybe, possibly. I think we have to be patient. But if I can see that steam and the momentum start to pick up here in Tesla to the downside, there might be an add opportunity, but I'm willing to get out relatively quick just because I am counter trending there, Sharif.
All right, guys, keeping an eye. I'm stopped out of CATX over here, so we'll keep an eye out on that. Look, it came into the volume weighted average price and it lost VWAP. So that is no longer of interest to me. So we end up stopping out. I did give back a little bit over here. So originally we entered in at 310, but don't forget we added at 327 on that move up, and it didn't end up giving me more than one out. So we'll give back a little bit right now, sadly, on CATX, but I'm keeping my eye on that. But it's been the VG show literally all day. This one did dip down aggressively into that 1390. I didn't add though. I was waiting to see whether or not this one wanted to make it back to VWAP. It didn't hold up at the 10. For whatever reason, it found support at the 20. So not an area that I had predicted, full stop. So in any event, we're trying to work back into highs right now. We're still well below that 1432 high. We'll keep an eye out on that. 1432. We're showing 1412 right now. So we'll keep tabs on that. It's though, what's it called? Wolf, which has also been a bit of a problem for me at the moment. Let's see where Wolf's at. There it is. Yeah, look, this one looks like it's going to flat bottom break. So I think I'm just going to get out of this one. I've got, what do I have on Wolf here? I've got 40s on. I've got 39s right now. I can get out at 39s. This one is just not for me, sadly, at this level, because it's put in basically lower highs on every successive crest since making that 147 high. It's at $138 right now. It's found support at VWAP a lot of times, which is why it has me feeling like this is a flat bottom break candidate. We know what a flat bottom break is in technical analysis terms. It's a descending wedge with that same area low, but lower highs on every successive area crest. And this is giving up the ghost right now. So I don't think that this is going to be the winning trade that I wanted. I think I'm going to flatten out here and see what comes of this. But yeah, interesting one here. Pug Life, I still have my rig and vinyl. I love it, man. Shout out to my old buddy as well, who used to be exactly what you were saying, Pug Life. He was like the DJ anytime there were parties or anything like that, and I want to like bust out my breakdancing moves. Damn. He would be DJ Ruckus was his name. Shout out to my man Ash. That's his like actual name in real life. So yeah, those were good times. Trading today for tomorrow. Neil, Joseph, Adara, Sharif, Obi. Where's Sean in this whole thing? Trading for tomorrow. You forgot about him? Appreciate you all. You make trading so much fun. Thank you. I appreciate that. Trading today for tomorrow. Kind words from you, my man. Appreciate that. All class there. Tisha, I hadn't seen you in the chat all day, Tisha. What's going on, man? Good to have you back. It's small cap gapper season, Tisha, in case you haven't noticed. So many big movers today. We'll keep tabs on all of them. Joseph, what do you got over there?
Yeah, I'm in this short. As soon as Tesla breaks this high, I'm out of this trade, guys. I mean, it's the longs that have been working throughout the day. I know Epic Strategy said, isn't it a long? And I'm like, I don't know. We're slightly extended, and I want to see if we can get a move back. But you can see, look how aggressive the tape is. And now we're heading back towards the high day, looking like with this momentum that we might put in a new one here. So as soon as we crack and sit above it, then I'll get out of it. Starting really small. I did put on a little bit more size than what I wanted to, that I was comfortable with, but nothing to really cry home about anyways. If we get stopped out, we'll still hold on to 90% of the gains of the day. So that's exactly what we got going on here with this Tesla. And I mean, if we fail to construct a new high, that's just going to put more conviction within my setup, all right? So that's exactly what I'm waiting for. If it looks like it wants to continue to climb into 1570s, then maybe we get out. But as long as we don't construct a new high, then I think this short might come into play. 1550 is going to be the primary target on TSLL. Let's see what Adara's got for us.
Just be aware here. We have comments coming from Feds Goolsby and Feds Cook, and they're both pretty kind of cautious here. Fed's Goolsbee, who's been notably, I would say, kind of hawkish as of late, saying that there is likelihood that we could see a direct tariff effect on prices within a month. So, but Fed's Goolsbee also saying at the same time here that these slowdown related to tariffs might not show up for a while in the data. So prices, maybe within the month, within the data, it might take a little bit longer. But we also have Fed's Cook saying that there is some evidence that trade policy is now affecting the economy and that this might actually make it harder to get inflation lower. So slightly different comments there in terms of what they're viewing as the timeline. Both Fed's Cook and Fed's Goolsbee are certainly seeing some impacts here starting to show soon, if not currently, with regards to how these trade policies and tariffs are impacting the economy. Back to you.
For sure. Yeah, we're going to do the Playmaker poll, and then we're going to hop into the news there,
Okay.
because I know
Sounds good.
that's what we like to do. So we're going to make sure. Okay, so actually, no, I'm not going to do that.
What's up?
I was going to say, at 100 data points, I was thinking that we do do it via options contract, but with a $1.50 stop and then a $3 target, because you need to give that variance kind of in there. So maybe we'll do that. I was thinking about that last night, but
that's fair.
I think that'd be fun. I mean, we can start calculating some things in a different way. All right, yeah. Talk to me. We're going long today.
Okay.
Surprisingly,
Yeah,
all the
I'm
way
not
up here,
surprised
but let's rock and roll here, guys.
596.59.
596.59.
And then we're taking profits at 598.59.
598.59.
And then we're going to get stopped out at 595.59.
59. There we go. And it is 110. It's 110. Oh, it's in 316. Today is the third.
Yep. All right.
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah,
let's start.
Let's cook up there. 98 there, Sharif. 98,
Yes, sir. Okay.
98,
Okay.
yeah.
I like it.
I don't know who's 98 in sports, but
98 in sports. I feel like I should know this. 98. Neil even's like
98.
having trouble with that. That means I'm definitely not going to know it.
Okay. McDavid's 97. Oh, is Connor Bedard 98? Hey.
Neil says yes.
God,
There you go.
hockey,
Nice.
man. Yeah, let's go. All right.
I looked it up.
Did you look it up? Did you just type it in that quick? And then it was Bedard, right? Hey,
Hold on. Neil's coming in. You got.
I don't want anyone to get the idea that I was confirming Connor Bedard wears 98 because I know anything about hockey. Like, I'm like, 98? I'm thinking just like Sharif, I'm like, who wears that number? I had to search it because I knew it would be a hockey guy, and I'm not going to be able to get that one. If it's a different sport, you know. But
What's wrong with knowing?
I'm that one Canadian. There's another thing that happens. Like, when I was in Budapest, like, when you tell people you're Canadian, they're like, oh, so you like hockey? I just smile, and I'm like, yeah, lots of Canadians love hockey. You know, obviously, I love Maple Leafs, all that stuff, but come on, man. Like, we
Nick
don't all
Bosa.
skate. We don't all love hockey. It's just crazy.
Oh, there you go.
Nick Bosa.
Oh, yeah, Nick Bosa.
Nick Bosa.
That's right. Good
I don't know who BJ Raji is.
Or
I'm
Jalen.
kidding.
BJ
Of course, I
I don't know
who
who
he is. Yeah.
Jalen Carter is.
He is a 6-time NFC championship.
Go Tesla.
Packers. Hey.
DJ Raji.
Yeah. Packers.
What do you play?
I think he nose tackle.
Oh, nose tackle.
98. You can
I
kind
think I
of.
remember. Oh, 98.
You can
No, I
always
definitely don't
tell
remember that
what numbers they are.
Yeah.
But kind of the new kids have changed that a little bit. A lot of the receivers don't want to wear 80s. They want to wear single digits, or like in the teens now, 14, 15.
What's up with that?
I don't know, bro. It's college or whatever they're doing. All right, let's do the news, guys. Let's talk a little bit about Meta, because this is a big headline today, not specifically for Meta, but for the company that they signed the agreement with, AKA Constellation Energy. Adara, I'm going to throw it up to you after I'm done this, because I want you to show everybody your trade, because she had an absolute banger on this one. We're just going to do this one first, and then we'll take a quick pause to see Adara's trade. So Meta signed a 20-year agreement with Constellation Energy to purchase about 1.1 gigawatts of nuclear power from their Clean Energy Center out in Illinois, starting June 2027, so we're a couple of years down the road. The deal secures the entire output from Clinton's single reactor and prevents its potential closure. Good luck there. Terms of the deal were not disclosed, but it will be expanded upon and will increase its capacity apparently into 30 megawatts. Now, Meta won't actually use the power coming out of that nuclear reactor directly, but it will actually use it to offset the emissions via the regional grid. The agreement supports Meta's goal of achieving 100% clean electricity across all their operations. We'll have to see how long it takes them. But they're not the only Mag 7 name or company in general that's doing this whole push of teaming up with energy companies. Microsoft signed a 20-year deal. Remember that 3 Mile Island revival? That's Microsoft. Google, they've committed to funding 3 new nuclear sites. They partnered with Kairos Power. Amazon invested $500 million into SMRs, small modular reactors. So this is very much in vogue right now with big tech in general. So this is Meta's first nuclear energy agreement, although the company has previously sought proposals for between 1 to 4 gigawatts of nuclear generation. Meta's return, though, Meta remains in search of advanced nuclear partners, signaling continued investment in next-gen power. So good look for Meta at that time. Adira, show us that trade.
Thank you so much for that transition, Sharif. So basically, CEG here, this 330 level in the daily was pretty significant. So I was watching that. We get a bit of a bounce slightly below, I guess, that 327s. I initially tried this as a long, didn't work. It gave you basically right to view up. Then it came back. I lost less than half a risk unit on this. But then I started drawing this little trend line, right? Because we're trying to make these higher lows. So I thought if we break below this short-term trend line, I think it would be a short. So that does come into effect. I got short mid 330s, risking here to the top of this little shelf area, the 334 level, and it came in. So which was quite nice here. Took some out here. There's a bit of a stall at 324, arguably too early. Then we get another piece because this was a little bit of, I guess, a earlier level here, that 318s. Then we ended up getting stopped out here, 30-minute prior bars, all good. I'm short again here, but I think we'll probably get stopped out of this, just 15-minute prior bar. We were kind of sluggish. I thought maybe a little bit of a bear flag breakdown or the stiletto pattern, if you will. Who knows? Chilling, waiting to see what happens. And thank you, Sharif, for giving me that opportunity. Back to the Bash Brothers.
Adira.
Very nice there.
Yeah, obviously another very spready ticker that's down, obviously, Adira's wheelhouse, and he's been watching the show for a while. You know that is her kind of, that's her modus operandi. Yeah, so shout out to her.
That's her thing there.
Let's talk about hims and hers.
Okay, yeah, I was going to touch on...
you want to do your thing? Go ahead.
I was going to touch on Meta because you were talking about Meta not too long ago, the Sharif show. Just to chime in a little bit, just from that bottom that we've seen here, guys, we're up 40%, all right? So that's a big-time move here in Meta. And then off of those all-time highs after that move, we're only down less than 10%. Okay, so these are some big time recoveries we're seeing across the board in a lot of these Mag 7 names. That's just what I wanted to touch on from a technical standpoint with Meta.
All right, guys. Yeah, I see it, Tisha. MCTR is absolutely going. It's rejecting 15 though, so be careful with $15. Look to pick up MCTR on the micro pullbacks. Look for a break of 15. Shout out to Tisha. All right. Hims and Hers acquires Zava to fuel their global expansion. Well, if you've been watching the show, you know Hims and Hers. You can get, weight loss medication. What else? I think you can get Viagra and all that other stuff. There are men's health stuff. Okay, hair stuff. This guy's pointing at it. You're killing me with that, bro. All right, man. So you can get some good stuff there from Hims. In other words, you can get that stuff you don't really want to go to your doctor for, and that's what Zava does out in Europe. So Hims and Hers announced the plan to acquire European telehealth platform Zava as part of its global expansion strategy. The deal hasn't closed yet. It's going to close mid-year, so we are mid-year, so I'm not sure how long we're going to be waiting here. Financial terms were not disclosed, but will be detailed later in future filings. The CEO of the company said the acquisition aims to accelerate their European growth and facilitate entry into new markets. Who can complain about that as long as they're profitable? And in fact, with this Zava expansion, they're going to be in Ireland, France, Germany, and they're already in the UK after picking up Honest Health back in 2021. So they've got a good foothold there in a lot of the bigger markets in Europe. Zava already has, though, 1.3 million active customers, which increases Him's total base there by about 50% to 3.7 million. Fantastic look there. They've been operational, Zava that is, since 2011, and they've developed strong infrastructure across Europe. So, at least prima facie, it looks like a good buy there. The CEO goes on to say that the European market actually offers them better pricing dynamics, and they also have fewer insurance provider complexities than they would in the United States, so maybe more administratively easy. He believes HIMs can scale faster internationally than they can in the US, funny enough, due to favorable regulatory and economic environments. We'll have to see how that all plays out in real life. They will retain their name, Zava, that is, for a few quarters before fully being rebranded to HIMS and HERS. The merger will integrate Zava's capabilities with HIMS infrastructure while retaining local market familiarity in the short term. Anything with you, Joseph, before I go on to Apple?
Yeah, off of these lows here, Sharif, 164%. That is a big time return there in HIMS, brother. So yeah, exactly. So from April to where we're currently sitting at the end of April to where we're currently sitting at 164%.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, that's not bad at all. I mean, down.
Assassino, can we show his?
We don't have it up here.
Yeah,
We
okay,
got to pull it up here. Yeah.
Yeah, that's a big move.
Yeah, it's
a big move.
Yeah, there we go. Bang. There we go. 164%, guys. Not too far off of those all-time highs. Let's see from a percentage metric exactly what we're sitting at right there to where we're currently trading at 24%. But I mean, 164 move off of the lows compared to a 24% move to where we're currently trading at. I'll gladly take that off of the bottom.
Oh, goodness,
that's a big time.
Very
move.
volatile stock.
Very, very extremely volatile. I mean, like, if you want to talk about it from a technical standpoint, we go from 72 all the way down to 25, right? So that's a 65% haircut. So if you could hold on to that, or you started to grab some shares down there, then you got to participate in that. But for me personally, 65%, I couldn't sit through that. I'm like, yeah, see you later.
All right. We're going to talk about the hot garbage Apple after we get back from Madeira.
Damn.
Yeah, we'll hear about the dead one very soon. I just want to let you guys know a little bit of a pop here in Tractor Supply Co. That is TSCO. This has like a 38% short flow, which I did not realize. But basically, I'm just seeing this circulate on X now. It looks like yesterday, a representative here, April McLean Delaney, filing here 3 new purchases of Tractor Supply Co. I looked into this. Looks like this was valued, I think it was seeing value here of around $1,000 to $15,000. So not a huge purchase, but this is significant because April McLean Delaney sits in the House Committee of Agriculture. Tractor Supply Co., of course, related to the agriculture space. So potential more, I guess, government insider trading here, sending TSCO with a little bit of a pop. Keep an eye on this name. Again, this was filed yesterday, but this is circulating around X right now. Back to you.
For that, Adair. All right, guys, Apple starts their worldwide developer conference, short form WWDC, obviously, on Monday. And AI likely will be the main theme, at least, you know, that's what I'm guessing. So let's talk about what JP Morgan thinks about the upcoming event. They reiterated their overweight rating on the dead one Apple with a $240 price target, implying a nice move up from the current area. It was 201 this morning. It's 203.25 now. The expectations, though, for WWDC, unlike last year, are very modest, okay? With analysts highlighting incremental rather than transformative announcements. So not to expect a Google event, you know, where they really lay on a lot of their innovations. Unlikely to be that. We'll have to see if they surprise us. The focus here, Joseph, is going to be on AI, as I mentioned. Expected to expand their AI LLM integration beyond just ChatGPT, possibly including the likes of Gemini. And when we got this morning, Anthropic, which is why Google started selling off in the pre, right? We were looking for reasons. That was why Anthropic being floated around by Bloomberg as a possible replacement for Google. We'll have to see how that all works out. Or like Brendo and I were talking about this morning on the big desk, you know, when you load up or you set up your brand new iPhone now, what does it ask you when you log into Safari? Do you want DuckDuckGo, Bing, Google, whatever, Yahoo as your default? So that could be one of the things that Apple does. Which LLM do you want as your default? And it provides you with, you know, 4 or 5, just like it does right now with search engines. So we'll have to wait and see what is actually done IRL. The key updates, though, to expect some possible on-device LLM access for third-party developers, also Siri upgrades and native app AI enhancements. I think that will be a big one. Native app AI enhancements where the app itself is the AI rather than Apple itself having to be the creator of the AI. Leave it to the developers. That's what they've done really well for the past 20 years. Why deviate from that model? That's what Danny Ives has been saying for a long time. He's been saying we should expect an AI AI app store, so to speak. Potential, but less likely to be announced, is news on Apple Intelligence in China. We know that they partnered with Alibaba. That is one of the requirements of the Chinese government. If Apple wants to drop Apple Intelligence in China, they need a local partner. My memory tells me that it was Alibaba that they chose. And also less likely to be spoken about is a North American Siri update before 2026. We've already kicked the can down the road. Unlikely for anything to be updated before the calendar hits 26. And we all know Apple lagging behind its peers in AI, but seeking to reassure investors with steady progress. What's up, Adair?
Yeah, I just want to let you guys know here, in case you missed it, yesterday there was this report suggesting that there is a letter coming from the White House or from the U.S. government basically saying to trade partners, you have until Wednesday to give us your best offer for these trade deals. So we actually now have White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt confirming that this letter is real. It's coming from the Office of the U.S. Trade Representative. And basically the whole goal of this is to remind countries that the trade deadline is soon. She also said that apparently the U.S. is, quote, on track for good deals. Meanwhile, Fed's Gould is speaking a little bit more cautiously about this, saying, quote, the escalating unbounded trade war could spiral up the inflation rate. So Fed's Gould will be warning about the tariff and trade relationships with regards to inflation. As we do have, sounds like from White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt, some optimism from the Trump camp on, I guess, this trade situation. Back to you.
Thank you for that, Adair. Just looking quickly here to see how close we are off all-time highs. Don't look, Joseph.
Okay. Yeah.
How close are we to all-time highs?
On the Qs?
The NQ, yeah.
Yeah, I looked
You looked the other day?
No, I literally looked about half an hour ago, but I'm going to say less than 1% now.
We're 3. 3.72, yeah.
3.6, yeah, sorry, less than 3 is what I meant to say about that.
That's fantastic. I just remember that guy in the chat. I should have written his name down. I would have called him out. He was like, see you at the bottom, bro.
Who said that?
I don't know, some dude. Anyway, let's talk a little bit about Apple.
I said the market wasn't going to make an all-time high this year.
Well, it still has it.
No, but
You still want to go with that?
Well, we can't make a bet on it.
$150 bet?
Hey, listen, my guy, don't worry. You're going to have your time. There will be that time where we will find something that we need to bet on. All right. Because I would say we could do Teofimo, Devin Haney, but we already know which way that's
I can just
going.
bet with the sports app on that, my guy.
Yeah, exactly. It's not the 150.
Well, I could put 150.
But it's not that 150.
Let's go on over here. So Apple strengthening its App Store kind of presence. Revenue grew 13% year over year in May after a 12% year over year bump in April, beating expectations both months. So not a bad look there. Evercore ISI also reaffirming their outperform rating on Apple with a bit of a higher price target than JP, 250. JP's has 240, citing strong U.S. market performance. Also Goldman as well. Goldman and Citi both coming out today maintaining their buy ratings on Apple with a $253 and a $240 price target respectively. So, both around that mid-twos. Let's just call it that, okay? All 4 rating agencies, we'll have to see how they do. Morgan Stanley, though, today reaffirming their love, their affinity, their desire for all things NVIDIA, maintaining their overweight rating and reaffirming it as their #1 pick in semis. They described NVIDIA as a unique opportunity with business momentum expected to accelerate despite consensus fears of a broader sector slowdown. Someone needs to tell whoever is worried about this that NVIDIA is now the most valuable company in the world. They just overtook Microsoft by a couple $100 million there, or a few million. There's been strong performance across the board, hence why Morgan is all gung-ho about NVIDIA. Recent results showed outperformance on gross margins, even excluding China revenue. The networking division, which had kind of been slower as of late, has shown signs of recovery, with supply chain commentary reaffirming the positive outlook here, especially around AI racks. We know SMCI, Dell, HPQ, they all deal with that AI rack business. The analyst noted there that gross margins ahead, as well as positive commentary on rack supply, as well as ODM inventory, is expected to resolve. So not a bad look there. Even though it sounds all gravy, we know that NVIDIA provided very limited guidance for the second half of 2025 and 26 for a reason, because of geopolitical concerns, especially as it regards to China, which was up until recently about 20% of their market. Despite this, Morgan Stanley says NVIDIA has materially undershipped demand and reinforces their confidence in some upside potential. So we'll have to see how that all works out. Joseph, anything you have to say before I go to Donald?
Yeah. I mean, there's a lot that I can talk about with NVDA, but I'm not going to get too deep into it anyways. But I mean, we got the big hyperscalers with the likes of Amazon, Meta, etc. Everyone who's buying up all of these chips. I don't think the well is going to run dry anytime soon in this company, and I absolutely love it for the long term, especially with these Gulf deals. We've seen that the UAE deal is bigger than what we got going on here on the western side of the world. So again, you can see it displayed in the price action of this name. We're trading right back towards those earnings reports high. There's not enough good things I can say about it.
Yeah, absolutely. Good look here. Let's talk about Dollar General. Where's it at right now? I haven't been looking at it. Obviously, DG. See if it's still up on the day. Now, up 14.5, not that far off highs. And they had a beautiful report today. They raised their annual same-store sales growth forecast about 1.5 to 2.5%. That's up from the 1.2 to 2.2 they were talking about. It shows the.
Sorry, can I say one more thing about one more thing about NVDA? And this is what I was referring to. So Microsoft, Amazon, Google, and Meta, analysts expect the combined spending by those four alone to top $345 billion this year, and that's up 41% from last year, and then it's going to increase next year as well too. So. Sure. I mean, that's cash.
Well, that's big boy money right cash, there. Big boy money. And nobody's disrupting them yet either. And let's not forget, it's going to be tougher to disrupt NVIDIA in the way that a traditional sector could get disrupted because of their software, because of CUDA. CUDA locks you in. We've seen this with Apple from the retail side, and we're seeing it right now with NVIDIA from the B2B side, business to business. They're really able to lock in their clients or their customers through that CUDA software architecture. So we'll have to see if that can get outdone by AMD or some other competitors. We're still yet to see anything substantial come out of Europe. AI related. We're probably going to see something coming out of China sooner rather than later, whether it's from Huawei or SMIC. Some of the other companies that they've got there, we'll have to wait and see what that ends up being. But you feel like Europe doesn't have that desire because necessity, you always hear this adage, necessity the mother of all invention, right? And Europe doesn't have any embargoes on the chips, so they can buy them as they please. Whereas, China, clearly not in that case, so they've got to innovate. We'll have to see how that all works out. Back to Dollar General, guys. Here, same-store sales rose nicely, 2.4% year over year, beating the consensus estimate by about 1%, which is not small. They also had great or strong Q1 performance supported by increased foot traffic and demand for low-cost essentials. I'll just tell you on this side of the border, we have something called Dollarama, and it is just flying. You can't go to that place without it being packed. By the way, they're opening stores at a time where other companies are closing stores. That should tell you in and of itself that demand for cheaper priced goods, obviously a priority as inflation. Well, I don't say the rate of inflation is slowed down, but prices haven't come down. And wages have not adjusted to the price hike. So people are looking for discounts. I don't have to tell everybody. Everybody knows what that's like.
See this pack of gum right here, 98 cents at Dollarama. Why would I go to anywhere else and pay $2 for the exact same page?
I don't know. And there's plenty of Dollaramas everywhere, bro.
There's literally
plenty.
On every other corner.
Exactly. I love going to Dollarama.
I love it.
I have no problem with that.
Exactly.
Canadian tuxedo, you're killing me, Mike.
You said that, man.
CUDA makes switching costs way too high, says trading today for tomorrow. Probably by design, wouldn't you say, to lock everybody in. So, we'll keep going on here. I'm not going to wax poetic too much about Dollar General. Li Auto, a name that I had in my swing trade and my long term for a long time, jumped nicely today, about 6.5%. Right now, it's not that far off. That 6.5's up 6 1/3, so not really giving back much here. This is not a new headline, as Adara brought to my attention this morning. They reported earnings already, and deliveries came out for Chinese EVs yesterday. And for the first time in a while, Li Auto out-delivered XPeng, which had been the big boy on the block lately. Like, I used to poop on XPeng back in 23 because they were doing bupkis. Well, and that's not the case anymore. But anyway, Li Auto delivered about 41,000 vehicles in May, topping the 40,000 mark for the first time in 25, outpacing XPeng, which delivered about 33,525. A lot of it is attributed to strong monthly performance. Goldman Sachs raised the price target on Li Auto from 31.70 up to 35.30, citing better than expected profit metrics and a strong sales outlook. Just to give you an idea here about Li Auto, guys, they are not a pure BEV play, battery electric vehicle. They're not hybrids either, okay? So they have a gas engine on the car, but the gas engine doesn't power the car. It just regenerates the battery. So you get that pure electric feel. If you've driven an electric car, you know that electric motor goes when you say go, gives you that instant torque. So there's no ICE component to this other than to say it's charging the batteries. That's kind of the niche that Li Auto has tried to build for itself, which makes sense in China. Well, it does make sense here too, and you've seen that because hybrids are way outselling purely electric vehicles now. And you see today Ford, electric vehicle sales down 25%, hybrid sales up 25% or thereabouts. So gives you the idea that what the customer wants. Li Auto plans to launch, though, even though they're not fully electric in their entire lineup, they are looking at getting fully electric SUVs in Q3, delaying its full EV push from 2025 to 2026. They got one called the i8 SUV coming out in July, and then the i6 SUV out in September. The models are projected to sell about 6,000 to 10,000 units a month. We'll have to see if that manifests or not, but not a bad look here for Li Auto. Anything before I go on to Robinhood?
Not necessarily about those two specific names. What I'm starting to see a lot more around the city is the Polestars. I like them. I like the look of them.
I don't like them.
You don't like them?
No,
eh? Oh,
I don't.
wow.
I don't like the Polestars, but you know I'm invested in it.
Yeah.
And the reason I'm invested in it is because it was south of that dollar. I picked it up. Anyway, Joseph, I see these things on freaking mass. Everywhere I'm seeing them.
Yeah.
That hasn't translated into big sales in the States.
Yeah.
They're selling big here. You want to know why? Because you can get them for $350 bi-weekly.
There you go.
And so you pure EV play,
Yeah.
400 kilometers worth of range. But I bet you most people don't know that they have 5 actual models. You think that they have one, which is a Polestar 2, which is what everyone sees. They got the 1, 2, 3, 4, and there's a coming 5.
Oh, okay. Yeah. That's very, very interesting there.
I personally, and here's the deal. So they're owned by Volvo. Volvo is owned by a Chinese company called Geely. So they're actually a Chinese company, but they've worked around it because of the ownership, and they built a thing in South Carolina, so they won't be subject to tariffs because they build them in the United States. Yeah. Adair's got news.
Yeah, a bit of a drop here on TSLA. Worth noting, Elon Musk a couple of minutes ago just posted very much not in favor here of the great, big, beautiful bill. So that's happening here with TSLA. He's just not posting in favor of this bill. It's being circulated on X. We'll have to see, I guess, how this unfolds from here. But the stock right now, a little bit red, unclear if it's related to this post or just in general. But keep an eye on Tesla, guys. Back to you.
Tesla right now, guys, as well, too, so you can see that displayed on my chart. But e-signal, new traders, listen up. Ozan, where are you today?
Where are you at, Ozan?
In the chat, yeah. First month free, that's right. We're waiving fees. Trade smarter, not harder. Upgrade to Elite, analyze, strategize, capitalize. Our platform is everything. Infinite data, instant trading, lightning fast market insights, game-changing charts, predict with backtesting, reliable real-time data, global markets at your fingertips, all in one platform. Don't miss out. Execute your best trades now. Ready to elevate your trading. Scan the QR code or check the link in the description. Ozan, I was at the airport. Where were you? I was waiting for you. I waited, and you weren't there at arrivals. I didn't see you there, brother.
By the way, guys, I just wanted to mention that Volvo doesn't own Polestar exclusively, but it has a majority stake in it. So I just want to clarify that. Listening mode, good trading day, so enjoy and get it, Ozan. Let's talk about Robinhood looking to further expand their footprint. This time, they're weaseling into Europe. They just weaseled into Canada through the acquisition of Wonderfly. That's why we had Mr. Wonderful on to announce that. And now they're working their way in Europe by acquiring Bitstamp, a major global crypto exchange. The deal instantly grants Robinhood 50+ active crypto licenses across the UK, Europe, and Asia, which is obviously key for a global expansion. Bitstamp brings with it a robust international client base, something Robinhood previously lacked. So not only are they everywhere in North America now, but they're also got a footprint in Europe. Shout out to Vladdy T. So the acquisitions here move beyond just the regular retail side of crypto, but it gets into much more nuanced area like crypto lending, staking, API infrastructure, white label crypto as a service offering. I had to actually Google what the hell that was this morning. I didn't know. It also adds an advanced order book and custody systems, which helps Robinhood scale into institutional grade services like smart order routing and settlement. So,
I love smart routing, man.
Tell me about it.
It just picks the. Oh, are you saying was that?
Like,
tell you about it, or oh yeah.
I don't know what it is.
So it will just pick the best, most efficient route for you.
Oh, fantastic!
Yeah,
fantastic.
So it's just like you don't even need to think about going.
Don't we have that on IB?
Yeah,
there is smart on there. Yeah, I've seen that. Yeah,
and that's where I started. I was using it on my other one, right? So it's just like boom. Whatever the best fills at all.
Amazing. Who's going to complain about that?
Exactly.
Choosing the market maker or the gateway, excuse me.
Exactly.
So the acquisition provides Robinhood with much needed regulatory on-ramp into Europe, which is good. According to this article, crypto regulation is clearer than in the US. I think it's gotten a lot clearer since Donald Trump took power, but Robinhood also plans on keeping Bitstamp's current brand and infrastructure intact for a while preparing for deeper integration in the future. So good luck there for Robinhood. As I mentioned, they acquired WonderFi in Canada, so they've already weaseled their way into other parts of North America. Now they're looking at getting into Europe and Asia. Rocket Labs, anything you want to say quickly?
Yeah, I mean,
go ahead.
Looking to get involved in Europe and Asia, that's just more money for this company. I mean, we've been talking about it. I've been talking about this name. I compared it. This is my Palantir to Katina, or my pick to Katina Man's Palantir.
Hey.
Yeah, I really like it. And I mean, it's put in a new all-time high there, Sharif, off of those lows. And I just talked about kind of the growth cycle that this name's been in over the past couple of reports. And I'm talking 2 quarters ago. And that's what really drew me to this name. Like, we just put in another high right there. This is an all-time high, sorry. I think 80s was, and that was just shortly after the IPO. But we're not far off of that all-time high now, guys, 72.37. So we've breached this previous pivot and then continuing to climb. But what really drew me to this name a couple quarters ago was the 98% increase year over year in options activity. There's an increase in overall user base. And then you had that 700% increase in crypto transactions. For me, that's just substantial growth across the board in many, many ways for this name. And that's what really drew me to Robinhood. And that's why I'm still attracted to this name at this level as well, too.
All right. Sorry, guys. Just 1 second over here. I think I lost my screen. There we go. Yep, there it is. Sorry about that. All right, let's talk about Rocket Labs. They launched their 65th Electron rocket for Black Sky deployment. So Rocket Labs, obviously one of the competitors to SpaceX, publicly traded though. They successfully launched their 7th mission of 2025. Not a bad look there. The launch deployed Earth imaging satellites for space-based intelligence firm Black Sky, which is traded, guys, publicly, BKSY, if you want to do more digging there. The mission brings a total number of satellites deployed by their Electron rocket to 226. That's total, not on the year, so not a bad look there. The partnership with Black Sky is strengthening, according to the CEO. He says they've got exceptional agility, meeting mission needs. With each mission, Black Sky is expanding its Gen 3 orbital capabilities. Good look for them. I love the name of this guy. Anyway, so we'll keep going on there. Pinterest as well had a headline today. JP Morgan upgrading Pinterest from neutral to overweight and raising the price target from 30. Like the user growth, the monetization, and the profitability from last year. So they're looking for a better year this year. So that's just kind of some of the news, obviously, that we had. There's more that has populated since I made this, obviously. So keeping an eye on that. All right, guys, let's talk some trading over here. Let's talk about VG. This is the one that I'm still holding out hope for, that it takes out that 1432 high of the day. It's at 1420 right now. Just took another profit taker there. keeping an eye out on this one. But look at FCell recover. Now we're only about 4 pennies out of the money. You can bet your bottom dollar that I'm going to try to get out break even over here. So let's go try to get out break even at the area where I am long, or the price where I'm flat. So let's see if FCell can get itself off that $0.50 where it found support 550, back up to 560 it goes. It's broken that downtrend, at least for now. We'll have to see if it can continue to go here. This one's been one of my worst trades on the day, I would say. And then looking over here, Wolf, this is another bad one. So we'll give some back here. We're long 40s. It's now at 37s. So this one,
Channeling your inner Obi there.
you know, I always put these profit takers. Yeah.
No, I was talking about these.
No, that's the chart going crazy.
Oh, is it?
No, I would never have those. Like you can see on my chart over here. No. So anyway, WOLF losing the volume weighted average price back up into $1.38, but I don't really see this one heading to the high side there. Good holding on FCell. It outdid my patience. Yeah, you know what? I could pay the price here for it because I'm 5 pennies out of the money on a $5 name. So we'll keep tabs on that. Last but not least, CATX, as I mentioned, this lost VWAP, so I got out. Kind of feel bad a little bit because it did find about a 30 penny move off my out, and but it still hasn't taken out higher highs though. And that's what I'm looking at there. Nothing else really doing here. Let's have a look at that other one, MCTR. What is this one doing? So it didn't clear 15. This one had trouble clearing 15, and it's still having trouble. We still got a downtrend that is in effect right now on MCTR. It really hasn't changed its tune all that much, maybe a little bit. Off this 130 candle, since that 130 candle, we've been putting in higher lows, but not exactly rocketing up in the way we were earlier. So we'll keep tabs on this one. If you're watching these small cap gappers, MCTR up a respectable 170%, the strongest one on the day, Joseph.
Yeah, good look there. Yeah, so I mean, we're still short this Tesla right off of those highs. That's the thing. It wasn't the best entry on my behalf. I would have liked to get as close to that signal as I possibly could, but that's not the case. But at the end of the day, I'm still risking only about 12 cents or so. So if we get out that now, if I want to have a proper 2-to-1 risk to reward, I need to wait until the 40s. All right. So 48 or 38 is roughly where I'm going to get out here out of all my position. That's even if we get it. I'm not going to add to it or anything along those lines. I mean, I had a really good trade here on the, what was it, did I short? NVDA short. Even though it was just a micro pullback, we still had the ability to capture that move, surprisingly, off of specific signals. But I do believe that this market is going to continue its strength throughout the remainder of the session, and I don't want to be going too heavily against that. And I think waiting for 1540s on Tesla is a little bit of a push. So again, if we do crack into, see where we bounce, and this is what I was referring to earlier, this was probably be a good level to look to take a little bit of profit, but just because of my risk to reward isn't there, I have to continuously hold this a little bit longer. So 38 is that move that we're going to look for. So I mentioned 72s was our stop. We didn't get quite there, almost got stopped out. So now we need to wait for 38s, and let's see if we can get this momentum to the downside, excuse me, to slowly start to pick up. Excuse me. Yeah, and I mean, so this is what we got going on there, guys. If there's any specific names that you want me to go over, if you want to go over some options activity, for sure. If you're implementing any specific strategies right now, let me know what you guys got going on. I mentioned what I had with CRM, Salesforce. So I started to grab some Salesforce. I have a bid out for some contracts on Salesforce, starting with shares, and then I'm going to look to add into this position if and when the thesis starts to work. So that's what I usually tend to do, and I find it's been working relatively nice for me. I'll build a nice base with shares, and then once I know that, like, okay, the conviction's there, I have a high level of probability within the setup is when I will start adding contracts, because it is quite expensive, right? It's almost just under a $300 name, and I don't want to be grabbing like 4 or 5 contracts off the bat, right? Because you could take some hefty hits, and the risk profile is relatively wide as well too. I had to give it $10 to start, and we'll break down the trade because I don't want to just get out in the middle of the range, right? So for me, I'm all about risk to reward. What am I holding this for? Where am I wrong? And I know a lot of my my friend traders, everybody here, you don't have a trade plan unless you know where you're going to get out, right? You don't have a trade or anything if you don't know where your job is to get out. So let's break down this CRM. potential position here. So again, we dump on the earnings report. Now we have that indecision print. So we have the hammer candle plus the volume. That's 2 levels of conviction within it. So, okay, let's start to get involved in this name. And also one thing to know, I'll take a couple of steps back here, is that if I grab the contracts right away, within a couple of days and the volatility starts to cool off, I'm losing money even if I don't depreciate in price that much. I'm strictly losing money to the cooling off and the decay of implied volatility. So for me, the more we move sideways right now, that's going to put those options contracts at a lesser price, and then that's going to get me exactly what I want. So if I buy those slightly out the money, now I can start to gain the extrinsic value, and then if they trade in the money, I get both of them, the extrinsic and the intrinsic, and that's kind of the thesis and the game plan of what I'm specifically working off of. But here we go. This is my out. This is where I started grabbing some at 262s, and then now I have to give it to about 252s for me to know I'm definitively wrong. And with that being said, the more sideways that price action that we have, that's better for the options contracts to start cooling down. The IV starts to cool off. They become less valuable, even though they're still worth quite a bit. But then you can also get a nice clean move, and that's just going to give me more conviction within the setup that, hey, the ATR is cooling down. That usually leads to more price appreciation. So that's what I'm looking at there on CrowdStrike. I don't have to, I'm not in love with this trade, but I do like it just off of those 2 signals.
All right, man. Keeping my eye here on FCell as it got right back into my break even, but it's a 2-penny spread on a $5 name. That's obviously quite displeasing. 565 on the ask, 63s on the bid, waiting for the print. We'll see what we get there. I worked my way back into this one over here. CATX punched in at 40s. I'm going to give this to current bar low. I'm looking for a break of that prior bar double top at 45s, and then ultimately a move back above 50. I liked how this found support at VWAP thereabouts, and now has put in a nice higher low, higher high pattern, even though it had a 2-candle pullback on the 5. I'm not going to risk a lot here. We're going to risk about 13 pennies or so, give it to 27s, give or take. So not a bad look there. Guys, BMEA was another one that we talked about earlier in the show, but then I took it off because, well, it lost VWAP. Well, here it comes again. You don't see this that often when a small cap gapper like this loses VWAP almost entirely there by a substantial amount and then rockets back up. Here we go. We're 1 penny off the high on BMEA. And this stock is up. How much is it up? 67% or thereabouts, 259 high. We had trouble with that level before, but look at the closing print on this candle here at 145. That is the highest closing print candle on the day. Boom, there it took out the high in the 69. BMEA going and going. So we got a midday breakout right now on BMEA, and look at that volume profile. I know Joseph will appreciate this. Higher high, higher high, higher high. So good look right now.
It start to pick up too as it breaks out.
And it just made me look bad because this bar right there was actually higher than the one prior, and then as soon as you looked over, it dropped. I swear to God. We got the video. We can rewind it.
It lost volumes, huh?
I don't know how that happened, but in any event, good look by BMEA there. Keep an eye on this one, looking to take out highs. Let's weasel on over and put some profit takers just above that 345 area. I know we're going to go to a deck in a second. She's got breaking news, so let's not keep her waiting.
Go, Tess.
Thank you for that there, Sharif. Keep an eye here in CLF. This is quite the look here for Cleveland Cliffs. Also keep an eye on ex-US Steel as well. White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt still conducting her press conference here, and she said that Trump is going to be signing an executive order today to double steel and aluminum tariffs. So aluminum and steel tariffs definitely happening here. Keep an eye on CLF. Back to you.
That Adara, appreciate that.
What's up, brother?
Hold on. Now we're gonna have to slow down a little bit here.
So cool, eh?
Okay, so we want to know about it, bro. We want to know. You took a strength training class, and more pumped I could not be.
Too many squats.
Too many squats, says the Katina man. Go. No, go.
Your old knee there, eh?
No, but obviously the Katina man has been smashing the swimming lately, so I was pleased as dang punch when he told me today, strength training class, but it looks like they did a little too much lower body there. But you're sweating up a storm, bro. Barbells, curls, deadlifts. Okay, we're loving it, man. This is everything. This is everything over here. So the Katina man doesn't.
Yeah, how is it outside though? Is it?
Well, look at him, bro. He's glowing. I mean, obviously it's hot out there. What were that was the weather lady on the news show that I watched yesterday. It was like the Triple H. It was hot, humid, and something else. Hot, humid, and there's another H there. I forget. I forget it. Shout out to
her.
Yeah, shout out to her. Whoever she is.
I mean, well, I was telling you yesterday, Sharif, I did a record number of muscle ups in a row yesterday.
Okay, so we need answers here.
Yeah.
So tell us a little bit about it.
Yeah, I mean, so yesterday, just right off the bat, while I had like the full amount of strength, I'm like, all right. And I only usually work muscle ups at the outside gym, and that's summertime. So the whole winter, I'm not really into them or anything.
Kipping though, right? Are you doing straight muscle ups or kipping muscle ups?
What is kipping?
Like when you generate power.
The first one I do, but the other ones
they're strict.
Yeah, they're strict. So yeah, I did a record. So the first one I just need to get up, and it wasn't much, but it was 6 in a row, and I'm like, hey, that's pretty decent. Yeah,
that's really good.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah.
Okay, well I don't know how many.
I don't like cheat or anything like that.
You don't go on one side and push
they're
up.
proper.
No.
It's funny. Years and years ago, a Russian man taught me how to do them, and ever since.
A Russian man, huh?
Yeah, about like 10 years ago on
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
I can appreciate a Russian muscle up every now and again. You know,
those guys are into.
Oh, absolutely, and they're all into kettlebells and stuff too.
Exactly.
I was gonna show you. I archived this picture on my my Instagram because it no longer fitted. You know what I was trying to do over here, but I have. Have you ever done muscle ups on the rings?
No, that's tough.
I got a video for you, my guy.
This guy doesn't even.
Neil,
this guy pulls it up right here.
You've never. I got it right here, man. Do we have time on the show? We got 5 minutes. Give me a minute, man.
On the rings, I've never. How do I?
Ram. How do I get my archived videos on or my posts on Instagram? How do I No, you know how you can archive stuff so you remove it? I didn't unarchive it, but I archived it. How do I de-archive it?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Okay, so Joe, take over for a sec.
Yeah, absolutely, guys. We're going to take a little bit more off of Tesla as we run into some of these targets. So a nice little short ski. I mean, this is why being patient, when the market is continuously squeezing like that, you don't want to get frustrated and just short over again. It's like, okay, accept your loss. All right, now we're going to get the move. So, I mean, surprisingly so, which is quite insane, is that I've made more money on the shorts today than I have on the longs. Which is, it's like, yo, what? Let's do a little quick trade review of what we had going on. And I mean, yeah, I told Sharif how many shares of IBIT I had this morning, and then eventually I just missed the bulk of that move, and I'm like, oh, that's no fun. But what do? We just keep our composure, cool like a cucumber, and then we just, we take a nice short here on NVDA. The ones on SQs didn't work, so I'm long SQs, synthetically short the market. Let's pull it up here. So 2 attempts on that. I'm like, son, AC Slater. We'll see later on that one. We're not going to try this too many more times. We're going to be patient on that front. But here we go in Tesla. So that's that. Oh, and Google, yeah, so there it is. SQs was IBIT is, we did lose more on IBIT than what we made. But then again, those are the only 2 red names that we have on the day. We'll pull back up Tesla because we are short and it is making another leg to the downside. And I'm talking like we're not too heavy on shares here either, guys. Just kind of holding on to some of the profits from the day, but we will take off another 33% of exactly what we have left there, and that's what we got going.
Yeah, there it is. This is my CrossFit days.
Nice.
Yeah, look, show this, Andre. Here we go. So this is what I mean by kipping. See how I generate power like that?
Yeah.
I can't do strict ring muscle
those are too hard. Yeah. I could probably do that.
Can you want to see something?
Yeah.
This is a 140. This is I think a 135. Yeah. Check this out, bro. Not bad.
That was clean.
Not bad there, huh?
I'm gonna start calling you Rich Froning.
Oh, that was back in the day, man. I remember that guy.
Would you rather be Rich or
he was an animal.
Richard.
Matt Frazier, bro.
Yeah,
Matt Frazier's an animal, man. He's like...
Because he beat Rich's record, didn't he?
Well, he did.
Yeah.
But I like Rich because he actually strength trained as well. It wasn't just about CrossFit. And when they kept asking him, they're like, how are you so good? He's because I do weights as well, bro. I don't live just in Metcon world.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Wow, look at this move there on Tesla.
Bro needs to catch the weight lower. Thanks, T for Tiger. How is it there on your little seat, judging everybody?
Yeah, bro, that is insane. Do you know what this guy just did? posted. Let's see your video. TM me on X and send it, and we'll post it.
I'm not staying with Sharif anymore. I'll be throwing you around, Ozan, if I don't have weights, man. Bring some weights with you, and then everything will be fine. All right, no, I'm playing, guys.
I told Ozan I was waiting for him at the airport. He didn't show up. So
Now, go on a guy, bro. He'll throw me from the window, he says. All right, guys, we're having a good time up in this place. All right, guys, I was able to extract a quick profit taker there on FSL, but true to form, I'm just too stubborn to get out break even, so I layered some more profit takers to the high side. It doesn't feel like it's going to move back up. Let's see what it does at 555, where the volume weighted average price is, keeping an eye on that one. Also, VG, looking like it doesn't want to take out that high that dates, back into that 20 exponential moving average again. So where are we long here on VG? We're long 74s. It's still showing me 05s. But it does look like it has a lower high now looking to break lower low pattern. So that is of concern to me. And last but not least, we've weaseled back into CATX over here. Let's see how that one's doing. Well, we're still kind of break even on it. Really nothing doing there. I'm looking for the 10 exponential moving average to hold on CATX. And I put my stop below prior bar low. So we'll give this one to about 27s, give or take, 330. 340 we're in, so we're risking about 13 pennies here. So that's what I'm looking right now. I'm looking at right now on the small cap gappers. By the way, guys, CATX is on the Amex network, so in case you don't find it, they are on the NQ. It is on the Amex. But BMEA continues to give you opportunities. Ugly kind of topping tail candle that goes into 269, drops back down into 230, but guess what 230 is? A higher low and VWAP. So right now on BMEA, even though it's zigging and zagging all crazy, what it just did was put in a higher high and a higher low. So keep your eye on this one during the power hour and when the big kahunas come on, because it's holding VWAP and it recovered nicely off the loss of VWAP there midday at around 11:45, and back up it goes again. So this one could be primed to go, especially if it takes out 269er. Not a bad look at all. We'll keep tabs on that. SBET, guys, I didn't want to get involved in that at all, and that's kind of why I said that, because, well, it dropped from $82.70 down to $62, quick as you like. Keep your eye on that one as well. It could lose even more here. It looks like it has some support at 62.50. Anything you want to leave them with there, Joe?
Yeah, I mean, short the market, guys. Just stick to those outs, especially with the strong market like that. So if you're looking to short, just make sure you have that definitive risk measures and abide by those rules, because that's going to give you another opportunity to eventually get into that trade. So you can see throughout the session, we just continuously squeeze. And if you weren't patient enough, you would have ran out of ammunition and wouldn't have been able to take this because you weren't willing to accept the fact that you were wrong. But here it is, a nice little short there on Tesla, right into the volume weighted average price. I'm going to close it out for you guys right now. Is it 2 o'clock? It is, Sharif. And just like that,
okay,
the trade is done. Nice short on Tesla. Thank you guys all for joining.
Tara, you killed me. Like, Tara. That was like perfect timing.
FF, what are you talking about? I mean, we had to, I did not, actually, I don't know what you mean by that, but I definitely did not lose my shorts. I was in the shorts. That's for sure.
I just wanted to say before we go, buy Epic Strategy. You lost your voice on this channel. It's been real, brother.
No.
Peace. Big kahunas.
Oh, Epic, what do you do?
He's an idiot.
Welcome back. Welcome everybody. Okay. You know what? What's crazy? I was impressed.